Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell,
Watcher.
James Farley,
Hello.
and no Mr. Murray this week. But we have got in his place Iain Lee. Hello, Iain.
Oh dear.
Is this?
That's Matt says that a lot. Have you not heard? He goes, oh dear.
No, he goes, oh dear, which is what?
Okay, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. It's lovely to be here. Thank you so much for asking me. I wish. Is Matt poorly? Is he bunking off? Is he
Dead,
skiing again? He's dead.
I don't actually know. What is happening?
He's making his directorial debut. He's gone to Hollywood.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, he's directing something. Can you imagine what that's going to be like?
What is he?
Imagine
directing
that.
something.
I don't think he's. I don't know. He's probably going to tell us off for misrepresenting. No, he's doing. Is it like? Are we allowed to say?
No, I don't think we are.
He's on a shoot today. We can say that, right?
He was talking about being auteur and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah, and he's got a little beret and one of those, the cigarette holders.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I mean, he went full Matt Murray, and he's got one of those chairs as well with his name on the back of it.
Yeah,
that he's
exactly.
like sitting down. Yeah.
Speaking of things with names on it, I see Iain is modelling the James Farley T-shirt.
I'm rocking the merch, guys. You can buy this. This is online. It's one of the most comfortable T-shirts I've ever worn, and at midnight, it cries.
Do you know what's funny? I'm going to bring this up. Do you know what's funny? Is that James has she'll text me every now and then. He cannot believe that you're involved with the show, right? Because he's been such a massive. Well, we've been a massive fan of you for so long. Well, he cannot believe that you're like in and around the show, and you've been on, and you support us and all that sort of stuff.
In and around the show, it sounds like I'm hanging around the back door.
it's been showing
It itself sounds unpleasant, doesn't it?
But the fact that you've got a T-shirt with James's fucking face on it, his name above it.
It's ridiculous. It's completely
I
ridiculous.
can make it look like it's me. Hang on a second. If you hold it up. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's the next T-shirt we need to do. That's got a print of James's face, on the bottom, on the inside, and then you pull it over your head.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh God, that would all be warped and stuff, wouldn't
Exactly.
it?
I am a big
Yeah.
fan, James. You know it. I am a big fan of yours. And
Why?
because, listen, I think he's the second or third best person on this podcast.
Okay.
And I just think you give him such a hard time that mainly is undeserved. And also, David, you say things that are so contentious and generally wrong. And when they're pointed out, often by James, you really don't back down, and you get very aggressive.
Sorry, I think you might have got our voices mixed up. I think it's James that says weird shit and can't back down.
I don't think I have, David.
Have you? Where did you get that?
Was
clip
that David or me?
No, this is you, James. I'm David. I talk like this. I won't do yours, Sean.
That's all right. You can if you want. I won't be upset, probably.
I could do Sean. Have you heard my Sean impression?
Yeah,
No,
but then we
go
get
on.
that listener, then we get that listener writing in saying it's tantamount to actual racism. So
Funny, your
yeah.
impression
Oh,
of Sean is very similar to my impression of Catherine, who I do the show with as well. So-
It really is,
oh,
it really
fucking
is.
hell. It's also very similar to Frank Sidebottom.
I was going to say, yeah.
Well, we're thrilled to have you back. Thanks for spending your time with us this evening.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We'd like to thank our
Matt Rip.
Patreon producers for this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights to Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Smooth Monkey, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Tom S, Stan, Philip with an F, Fred Fenge, Steve the Nuke Littler, Cutty, Steve Lee, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Man, and Tri-States. They are the Full Nels crew, and we thank you so much for signing up at that level. Sorry, Iain. Yes.
I was just going to say, I do a Patreon, and it still amazes me now, and I wondered what it was like for you, that people are prepared to pay me, to twat around and talk utter bollocks. And in our case, we watch El Dorado and just talk nonsense. do you guys still find it amazing that there are people every month they dip into their wallets and send you a few quid?
Yeah,
Nah, not really. It's you kind of go, they're actually lucky, that we're around, so sort of get used to it after a while.
I thought
In
about
fact,
that.
actually, if it dips below a threshold, it's like, what the fuck are they playing at? Like, it's actual anger.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I know, and we talked about this before, but like obviously people we know in our day-to-day lives probably wouldn't believe that we do this and get some money for it. But then, like, Ian, do you have an equivalent? Like, you know, when you being a psychologist, does everyone know who you are?
It's interesting. It's interesting. It's more a counsellor than a psychologist before someone pulls me up and says, no. Some of them do. Some of them have they saw a tweet just at the time they felt that they needed to talk to someone. I always have like a little 15-minute chat with them before I work out if it's, you know, it's going to be like a super fan or someone who's like, I wanna... But I think I've only had to say no to one person because they were a little bit too involved in some of the work that I had done, and I said no. But yeah, some people do. It's weird, isn't it? I thought it would be a big problem, and it's not really, but it is interesting. Yeah. But it means no. I was going to say something I can't say, so I shut up. I just imagine it being incredibly surreal for some people to just start seeing a counsellor and be like, apparently he used to be, like, he's been on telly, he does the radio. I did have one client, I can say this isn't breaking confidence, who like session 5 went, oh my God, I've just worked out who you are. Which was a lovely, but then what we have a little chat about it, and I say, you can ask me anything you want, and I will answer it if it's appropriate. Do you think this is going to be a problem working with me? You know, because everything I've ever done is all out there, the good, the bad, the indifferent, and no, it's less of a problem than I was expecting it to be.
We're I don't know if we've mentioned this on the show before. I think we may have, but we're Snip brothers, right? And
Yes,
can you please tell? I know the story, but can you please tell the story of when you were having your little operation?
I should just flag up, I've got cats here and they're in a weird mood, so you might hear some screaming and fighting. So yeah, I inspired by David getting a vasectomy, I thought, you know, this shop here, I want it closed. So I booked in to get one. And so you go in, I don't know if this is the same for you, you kind of, there's like, they get through about 20, 25 a day, and you're sat.
Yeah, it's like a conveyor belt, it's mad.
It's weird. And you go in, and then there's the guy who I don't think is actually a doctor. I think it's something different. And there's a nurse, and it was, in my case, it was a female nurse. And you get up on the table, you pull your trousers and pants down to your ankles, you don't take them off. Then they get that big blue loo roll, you know, the big sheet of it. And they put it over your gentleman's equipment. And then they cut flashbacks. They cut a hole through it and pull your cock and balls out. So that's through, right? And then it's keyhole. So
talk about this.
They cut a tiny little hole in your ball sack, and then he has to go in and burn. So there is a thing. Bit. I've got to get to the. Okay. It doesn't hurt. It's fun. So I had to get to this bit. So my cock and balls are sticking through this blue paper. There's a hole in my testicles, and a man has put something in. And while this thing is in my testicles, the female nurse says, "Do I know you from somewhere?" And I wasn't going to go through the CV at that moment. And she said, "Oh, you've been on the telly. What have you been in?" And I said, "Oh, I was on I'm a Celebrity." "Oh my God, you stole the strawberries!" And there's a man inside my nuts. Well, that was...
He's like rooting around.
He's rooting around in my sack while someone was remembering me for stealing strawberries with a thick boxer.
So to answer your question, yeah, I find it weird that people sign up to our Patreon. I really do. It's really...
In summary, yeah.
It's going to be one of those, isn't it? It's going to be one of those tonight. I'm all for it. James doesn't like talking about this stuff. He gets all funny about it.
He doesn't like fun, does he? That's the problem.
No, he doesn't like people who aren't fertile like him.
No, he's allergic to them. It's because he's so fertile that he can't stand
It's the idea of them being burned and stuff. I don't know, it just freaks me out a bit.
Mike, see, yours really hurt,
you're getting
Dave.
a Wookiee tattooed on your ass. I don't quite...
I'm not. Have you seen the track record of that studio, David?
Okay, sorry, Ian, what was that?
Mine didn't hurt at all. I had the ice pack, I had the rubbering to sit on. I had all of that
was
stuff,
bad.
but I didn't need it. You were in agony, right?
Yeah. I was buster gonads for a while. It was crazy. I needed a wheelbarrow. But there you go. Maybe it's just the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Ian. That's the problem. Yeah, it is mad. I tell you what, it's the Patreon stuff that weirds us out, and then when we do the live shows and you seeing people turn up, and
Yeah.
that the one when we did the one in Sheffield. When we were downstairs, weren't we? And you were downstairs with us, and we were testing things out, and we were trying to get the tech working for the live show. And then you said, right, we're going to go up. We said, right, we'll see you in a bit. And then we walked up that fire escape, Sean, do you remember?
Yeah,
and then hearing that noise gradually get louder, that was when I went, I don't know if I can walk out. That's really fucking... When it feels real, yeah, so we appreciate anyone that signs up, anyone that supports us in any way. Like it is amazing. We've got our Patreon podcast recording Wednesday, so you'll be getting that this week, and then hopefully Tamu will be on Sunday. However, there's a bit of a discussion around what's going on with that, and. So James hasn't got his parcel yet, and for some reason he got really defensive when we brought it up. Like it wasn't his fault. It's not your fault,
No, because
James.
I know, but it's always something that happens to me, and then it's always
So it
just
hasn't
like
happened to you, though, has it? Because it's
I
not
know exactly.
your-
It hasn't happened. That's the point.
doing.
And then it's just like, oh, I'm going to be the reason why it's not working.
No, but
for
you're
Yeah, but
not
you're
the
not the
reason. It's
reason,
whoever
James.
sent
No one
you
was
your-
saying that.
all right, fine.
Patreon.com/TCGS. Feedback from last week's show, Sean.
I thought it was shit. That's my feedback. I'm
shit, Jim.
joking. It's a rude joke. I apologise. Please continue, Sean. Sorry to interrupt.
It's all right. Pete Pot says, David, the opposite of a peak isn't a, quote, really bad peak. It's
Is that what I said?
or a trough or a dip / recession / depression or downturn. Congrats on 400 and thanks for being good sports about the
Wait.
listeners nitpicking. Appreciate you all.
Wait, is that what I said?
I don't remember.
I don't remember saying that because really bad peak would be an excellent
Well, you could have
podcast
a
title.
peak of a bad thing. You could have like a peak in murder rates, for example.
Yeah.
That would be a bad. That would be
That
a
would
really
be a
bad
bad
Been
peak.
a really bad
Be a
peak.
bad peak. Yeah.
I've got to find that bit, Pete Pot, just to listen to that back. I will say, I had quite a few messages to talk about mishearing things. I had quite a few messages about how in the Fallout TV show, they don't say you come down here with no weapons and no health. They never said that. That wasn't intended. It was no weapons and no help. I just misheard it.
But not only did you mishear
Wait,
it,
is
but
this-
you then continue to be like, it's so weird that he said that.
You know what it's like? It's like when we were doing Marvel calls and he thought that he said "ice to see you" or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah.
It's not the first time that David has spread untruths about Fallout, the TV show. So
Are we getting into the 76?
true.
we're
thing
not going to
again,
get into the
76
Fallout
minutes?
76 because it kicked off a bit in the WhatsApp group. Just
It did.
it was a big thing. It was a big thing, I thought.
And just for the record, Sean was making a joke when
Yeah.
he said 76 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's just be very clear about that.
Thought
It's
that
very
was very
important.
clear already, but yeah.
I don't know if it was. Go on.
I don't. Go on.
Go on.
The bridge troll says, thanks to Mr. Murray, that's how he dries his smelly bridge is now a phrase that will live in my brain rent free. Yeah, that was horrible. And presumably, given the context, i.e. having just gotten out of the shower, that's the only time it's not smelly.
I think about
What?
that maneuver every time I'm coming out. Is the towel between the legs? Is
Yeah,
what
the
you were
towel
talking about.
between the legs
Clean-
thing. Yeah.
drying the taint. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that every time I'm in the shower now.
What after the pod? You
Yeah.
didn't think about that before? I think about that
No.
all the time.
What?
I think James doing it. And like like that. And then in the cartoons where you see a bum and sometimes it has like a shiny square on it. That's what I
yeah.
imagine James's arse is like. He's just doing that and it's just proper like
That
doing like a
square is
squeaky noise.
primed for a
I
walkie.
did that just before we started recording. You know. It's,
Did you?
Yeah.
Didn't even go to shower. You just got
going all
over
over the
toweled
place,
yourself
it was.
down.
Rubbed it
Oh,
with his
right,
hand.
okay.
Hand cleaning the taint.
Simon says, I've listened to and loved your podcast since the Joypod days. It's from this place of love that I write today to tell you how unusual last week's show was. Historically, James is silent throughout most of the 2-hour-plus recordings, outside of reading out news headlines from Eurogamer. But last week, he was quite chatty. I wonder if this was out of guilt, overcompensation for his streak of absences, or the Red Bull he used to self-medicate his cold. Whatever the reason, please make the chatty version of James a recurring guest. Appreciate you all.
I mean, that's outrageous. I talk quite a lot.
Don't
but
ever go at him. He's saying he likes you.
I know, but he's still having a go saying like I don't ever talk. That's not true. It's just you see, I've always strongly believed like you don't talk unless you got something to say. Like, I didn't want to be one of those people that's just like chatting constantly.
He's having
for
a go at the
no
rest
reason,
of us, Dave.
You know.
I am
It
reminded.
really just...
Sorry, I'm reminded of a bit from last week's show where James was hinting that maybe he's not going to be that present in June. He's not. I don't know what the details are, but he was hinting it. And Matt shouted, "It's nearly June, James!
It's June next week."
That totally did me in.
So 2 weeks off he's got in June.
Is
Look
it?
at his... Look how ready... Yeah, he's off for 2 weeks in June.
Wow.
Yep.
Absolute
It's
player.
mad, isn't it?
And it was
How-
it was the climb down, wasn't it? It was, I might be off this 1 week, which then became, I am definitely off that week and the following week, and then you're away somewhere else in July. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm going to Vienna.
Yeah, it's going to Vienna. So
This means nothing to me.
What
he
would you
drip
do?
feeds these things, which actually
an
makes it worse.
As an experienced broadcaster, Ian, what would you do at this point? If this was a member of your team,
Yep.
what would you do?
He'd be
I would-
pretty
I would-
understanding, obviously.
No, I would seriously. I would do the maths and dock the money. Seriously,
shout.
genuinely.
Good
Genuinely.
shout.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Thoughts?
I've already offered that, but you know it was.
Oh, you haven't?
That's not true. I
It
have.
wasn't this bad.
Damn it. Let me have, James.
I did.
Let's move on.
Acid, what is it? What was the phrase? Acid
Money's
is,
acid to
the money is acid to friendship. That's the phrase that I said to everyone when we first started Patreon. Go on.
The next message comes from Gary Smackhead, the UK's #1 smackhead. David.
What is this show? At this point, what is this show? I know it's not been the best year for gaming, right?
Yeah,
what-
it's been brilliant. That's the worst part. There's been loads of good games, and we're talking to Gary Smackhead, the UK's #1 smackhead.
Something to be proud of. You got famous listeners.
He says, David butchering the pronunciation of tortoise ruined my high. Although, to be fair, I just got to the bit where Sean and Matt are debating if the Virgin Media Box is a console. I was actually longing for the sweet embrace of an overdose. Have a word.
Okay, Gary.
Now, I
sorry
will
about
say,
that.
Gary, Mr. Smackhead, it wasn't really a debate. It was just Matt saying, would my Virgin Media Box technically be a console? Me going, yeah, I suppose it would. And then we moved on. So I don't think it was that drawn out.
Oh,
really.
please message in every week, Smackhead. That's been my favourite one for a while. that was a good one.
It was a good one. Gatekeeper 2000 says we'll be expecting Sean's notice within the week for having never played Ocarina of Time. All of Sean's video game reviews and opinions should now be under investigation for legitimacy, and a full public apology expected for misleading the community on his status as a true gamer. I have played it. I mean, the truth is even worse. I have played it, I just didn't really get on with it.
How do you not get on with it? Was it
I
because
didn't play
everyone
it
was
back in
raving
the
about
day.
it?
Yeah, when did you play it? Was it recently or?
It was, I mean, it must have been, oh God, I don't know, like, 6-7 years ago, something like that.
That's understandable, I think.
Yeah, it's just not, I'm sure it was amazing if you played it at the time.
Oh, mate, it was incredible.
You were silent about this, I think, during the whole Ocarina, the whole
It's Ocarina.
Ocarina. Yeah.
Ocarina,
yeah.
the whole mispronunciation thing. You didn't pipe up then. You didn't feel like piping
Did I
up.
not? Yeah, it's definitely Ocarina. I've not even played it.
No, I just mean, shouldn't you have just blurted out your admission? I've never played it. You should have
Oh, I
just
see.
come out
I
straight away,
see.
just lay it all out there. You probably have over the years, but I forget. It's that game still makes me feel sick from nostalgia. I fucking love that thing. So you don't get that opponent thing, like that means nothing to you.
No,
That fucking
horse. I know it's Link's. I nearly said it's Zelda's horse. I know it's Link's horse.
Da-da-da. Oh, I still remember that fucking horse. All right.
Dan W Says, I am so sorry. I am the third friend involved in the debate between Sad Boy and Nick G. And I want
Right,
to
there's
give
no way
context.
Sad Boy and Nick G have another friend, Dan. So don't lie.
We should
There's no
contextualise
way.
this. So this is last week. We had a question from Sad Boy saying, "Oh, what are your favourite Nintendo consoles?" And then Nick G sent in this additional thing saying, "Hello, you're going to get a question from my friend asking about your favourite Nintendo consoles because we've had an argument about whether or not the Game Boy is a console." Anyway, Dan W says, as Sad Boy said, we were discussing favourite Nintendo consoles with the Switch 2 being around the corner. And I made my list, which included no handhelds, because the context of the question was clearly about home consoles. Nick G then put his answers, which were trolling, and only mentioned the Game Boy and a few other home consoles which he claims he hated, like the GameCube, etc., and not the DS or anything like that. I said that the context of the question and my answer was clearly geared to home consoles. He then started ranting that, quote, the Game Boy is a console, it is, etc. I carefully never confirmed or denied my thoughts on the Game Boy being a console or not. I just continued to make reference that the Game Boy is a handheld. He couldn't let this go. A handheld what? Blender, he would taunt. So
That's
to clear the matter
Poor
up...
taunt. That is a shit taunt, that,
pretty
isn't it?
weak, isn't it?
That was weak.
So to clear the matter up... To see if the question would be contextually clear, we decided to go to you guys. This is where the betrayal is insane. For Nick G to message you lads and pop his thumb on the scale to bring it back to his mad need to clarify something I have neither agreed nor disagreed. So in summary, I am sorry. Hope you're all well. And as a side note, I want to point out when James moved to China many years ago, he said he was upset that he couldn't bring a console with him and that all he had was his DS. None of you said, wait, isn't the DS a console? Anyway, thank you for your time, and I would like to clarify once again that this isn't me saying that the Game Boy is or isn't a console.
I gotta say, Nick G and James Farley sound like they would get on handsomely. They seem like very
No,
similar
because-
personality. Go on.
I mean, you say that like I couldn't bring a console. What I meant was a home console. I couldn't bring a
You're
home
just
console with
focusing
me.
on that. You're just
Yeah.
focusing on that, James. There's 40 words of text here,
Yeah.
possibly more, and you
I think-
focused
I
on
think
just the bit about
again,
you.
it comes down to context, doesn't it? As you say, James, you were clearly, without, you didn't say home console, but you were obviously making a distinction between the
Yeah,
two.
so, yeah.
But
Do
if you're
you
listing
not-
the best Nintendo consoles, I think you include handhelds.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you
yeah.
not play Game Boy at home? Has it got to be on a bus?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Thank you.
Do you
I
not
rest,
play
my, I
Game
rest
Boy?
my case.
Okay, well, we've got to the bottom of that. It sounds like we've got 3 fucking liars amongst our listener base.
Or just
We'd like
one
to
person with a lot of free time.
What, you
Who
reckon
knows?
that one person may have made these 3 characters up?
Yeah. You
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'll
I
just
mean,
put
it's
together a whole
possible.
narrative and send it in at different times and we're being played, Dave.
None of them have put a kitchen utensil at the end of their name, though, so I'm not 100% sure I agree with that theory. All right, okay, next.
Last one comes from Johnny Neweggs. Top 3 previous.
Why can't it just be like Brian Young?
Did anybody else? I
Tom
was
Smith.
thinking this the other day. Did anybody else illegally buy eggs during lockdown?
What was
do
it
you mean?
illegal to buy eggs?
Well, it was illegal to meet people, and I found a guy on
How do you buy
Facebook.
eggs, Ian?
Sorry.
How do you buy eggs?
Well, there was a guy on Facebook selling half a dozen eggs for a tenner,
Right.
and
That's not good, is it?
but you could.
Yeah, that
Could you
doesn't seem
not
like a
get
good
eggs
deal at
during
all.
lockdown?
What kind
That's
of
a
eggs were
terrible
these?
deal.
Were they chicken
You
eggs or
see eggs
ostrich
for a
eggs or
tenner?
duck?
They were hens' eggs. There was a
I
shortage
think they're all
of
hens'
eggs.
eggs. Are they?
Well, ducks' eggs.
Yeah,
There-
ostrich.
There was a shortage of eggs, wasn't there? You couldn't get if you got your Tesco delivery. If you were lucky, all right. Let's go back a stage. Do you remember when everyone would text going, "There's Tesco delivery slots," and then they'd all go.
Yes,
Do
I
you
remember that.
bit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You couldn't
Yeah.
get eggs.
no,
you
no,
could
that
still-
bit I don't remember.
You could go into the shop.
I remember toilet paper was bad.
You couldn't
couldn't
go
get
into the
toilet
shop
paper.
during the proper lockdown, the classic.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you
Yeah, you
could.
could.
The classic lockdown,
The,
the
classic
best,
lockdown.
the
Yeah, you
OG
could.
lockdown, the OGLD. You
Yeah.
could go into shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you remember they went? Oh, the first First hour's now for NHS and old people.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
then you had
why?
to,
Fuck,
then
I
you had to go and
wasted
queue
6 months.
outside. It's like queue outside for ages.
It was actually great.
Ian, did you pay £10 for 6 eggs off someone from Facebook?
Yes, I did, because I thought you weren't allowed to go
And
into
the guy on
Tesco's.
Facebook was like, "Don't go to the shops; they won't let you in.
Fuck.
You have to
Were they
buy
good?
my eggs
Were
for
the eggs good?
£10."
Do you remember?
The eggs is eggs, mate. They all taste the same, but they
Eggs
taste
as eggs. Can you write that down as the show title,
The
please?
subtitle, yeah.
Thank you.
Were they free range or what was the?
I should hope so.
It sounds like he probably just fucking bought them from Tesco's himself
Just
for
retailing
£2
He's
and then
drop shipping
marked it
eggs.
up.
The problem is, who sits there and goes, "Oh, free range eggs? No, let me get the ones where they really treated the animals like shit." Like, what was there?
When
you could
when I
taste
was
the fucking panic.
when I
in
was a very little
the
boy,
egg.
I was about 6 years old, and my sister would have been 9. And we rented a caravan in Cornwall, and it was on a farm, right? And it was a really nice farm. And one day he said to me and my sister, 6 and 9, "Do you want to come and see the chickens?" We're like, "Yes, we do." And he took us to this massive barn, pulled this door open, and there were probably about 5,000 hens, like in these tiny little boxes, making this fucking awful noise. And me and my sister burst into tears. The most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's all-
Isn't
well,
it? And apparently, like supposedly free range chickens, like they found all the efficiencies now, so you can you can say they're free range, but actually the conditions are still basically horrible now.
Oh God,
There's a specific phrase. Is it barn fresh? There's something that that is actually legit. But
Right.
Can I? Sorry, I'm just still curious as to how you came across these eggs. I mean, did you like? Were you like
did you
searching
search eggs
were you
on
searching
Facebook?
Yeah, searching for eggs on Facebook. Were you doing that?
there was just I don't really remember how it. I got to try and find his messages. I don't really remember how it.
He
God,
was
why
messaging
his
you.
messages?
He approached you.
You're reading out the messages. You're reading out the messages.
Was
This
it
is
some
fucking
guy
snap
that just like
eggs.
randomly started messaging saying, "I've got eggs"?
I'm trying to find the egg message.
Definitely didn't have eggs.
He
While
won't-
you're looking for that, do you want to read the actual
Yeah, it's
Johnny
probably read
New
out
Eggs?
Johnny New Eggs,
message?
who's spent the last 10 minutes being like, "Come on."
Yeah.
The top 3 previously recurring
God.
TCGS jokes that I miss every week. He's done them 3, 2, 1 for some reason. 3. In the beginning, not the funniest of gags, but solid and reliable. A few of these have gone unmocked recently, and it just
I
feels a
know.
bit
I
eerie.
noticed that. Did you notice it last week? It was because we were talking about something very serious. We were
Yes.
talking about like something really bad,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
James went, in the beginning, and I just it took me everything not to go
Not
in
now."
the beginning.
Yeah.
It killed me. It killed me. But
Number
yeah,
2, David's Who. Any mention of Embracer Group, subtle and silly, only got funnier with time.
Okay, I'm
That
gonna
wasn't a joke, was it?
No, it didn't start as a joke, but then I turned it into a joke. But I need to bring that back. You're absolutely right, Johnny New Eggs.
Number 1, support us on Patreon. If you don't, we'll fucking stop.
I
Failed
used
give
to
me
like
a big
that.
fat grin. Congrats on 8 years and 400 episodes, lads. What would we do without you?
Thanks, Johnny. That is the best bit of feedback we've had in years,
That's
because
nice.
it's mainly about jokes that I make. So I appreciate that. I need to bring some of those ones back. You found it, Ian?
No, it now just says where his name was. It now just says Facebook user.
I wonder.
Right, okay, so they have
Probably
run
in
off
prison.
with
He
£10.
got rumbled. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this-
I have totally.
How much
been
money
done.
did you give this man in total?
It was a tenner for 6 eggs.
Yeah, but how many times did you go back to him?
I did it once. I only did it
Okay.
once.
I sounded like a concerned mum then. How much money did you give this man? Come here, have a cuddle. It's okay.
Have I? I've completely misunderstood the last 4 years then.
That's amazing. I just imagine he's like going home and he's like,
shit.
look, buying these for like £2. 10 quid from this guy. It's profit.
Matt, I know you're
on that.
listening, right? And I know every time you're not here, you say to me, "Oh, the show just sounds like funny. Oh, it sounds like I've missed a banger, and I really hate it." Yeah, I'm so sorry, but this has been one of my favourite episodes we've done in ages because we're not talking about video games. It's that bad. It's
I do
bad,
wonder
isn't
if
it?
one day that's going to be the pivot. Like when we're all like 60 or something, and we're just like, should we
Yeah.
just? We'll
Let's talk about
occasionally get
eggs,
onto
ordering eggs
games,
from Facebook.
but we'll just
Yeah.
talk. Yeah,
Can't find it. Can't
He's
find
right.
can't find it, it's fine.
Before we move on to the news, could we have a quick break? Because Jo needs to get something out of the bedroom and she's messaging me.
I'm going to use it for a pee break then,
Go
even
for
though I
a
don't
pee
really
break.
need one. Try and squeeze one out.
Yeah, squeeze one out, man.
Me and James trying to entertain
2
the
secs.
nation now. What are we going to do?
I don't know, but I was going to do the same thing because I've just drank like a whole bottle of water.
That's fine, you guys. Go for it. Any questions from the audience for me specifically? How's it going? You all right? How am I today? I'm all right. I'm okay. Oh, Dave came
Didn't mean
back.
to do that. Sorry,
No,
didn't mean
it's
to do
all right.
that. I am
It's
here.
okay.
I am here. It's just Joe's getting some pajamas out. We
I'm
got
a
Ian on
bit
the show
quieter
this
than
week.
the others. I will fix that. Thank you.
Really funny.
Oh, I'm
James,
already on-
James is on, but he's just told us that he's having 2 weeks off next month and another week off in July. What do you think of that? Should we be docking his wages? No comment, Joe says, because that is a rug we could have in our new home.
How's that? Am I a bit louder
A
now?
rug.
Is that better? It's probably a mic technique thing more than anything else. I'm
I
talking
haven't
past the
laughed
mic.
that much during feedback for a long time, man. That was fucking funny.
That was good. How's
What's-
barbecue? Barbecue's amazing. I built a barbecue in my garden finally. I mean, the actual barbecue bit is just from a barbecue, but I've built some walls and some little work surfaces and stuff. It's fucking. Do you know how much less stressful a barbecue is when you've just got some work surfaces to use? It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah,
Where do
I don't know
you-
because I haven't got a garden.
Yeah. Well, you will have one day.
Where do you stand on pizza ovens?
We've got one.
Do you use it?
It's been a bit of a learning curve. We're going to use it more now that we've got a space in the garden to actually put it that isn't the floor.
When did you get this, Sean?
Well, sorry?
Did you get this within the past 2 years?
Yeah, why?
Did you get this because of the episode of Bluey?
No. No.
You
it's
could
before
say
that.
no, but I know you did.
No. It was before we saw that episode, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it a couple of years ago. It's a good episode, though. And,
I
it's
did not-
accurate as well. You produce this pizza that looks like a piece of shit, and then you're like, oh, fuck, this is brilliant.
I didn't
Yeah,
like
okay.
the long one.
Did you not?
No, I thought it was bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was 20 minutes of them talking about something and then going, nah, let's not do it.
Yeah,
like,
the
come
fact
on.
that they don't pull the trigger is...
There's literally no reason why they couldn't have moved. Like, there's literally
Yeah,
no
yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
It was so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Very quickly, I just Googled. This is a question from 3 years ago. Why are eggs in short supply during the lockdown? Then it lists all the reasons. You
Right, what's
couldn't
the
get eggs.
What's the username? Is it Iain L?
Was it the guy you were
That's
buying the
kind of
eggs
funny,
from?
right?
Is it Facebook user? Now he's like, I can't find eggs anywhere in shops that I'm not allowed to go in.
Let's continue with
Lucky
the
I'm
podcast.
selling these for £10. Oh, right. Okay,
I know
sorry.
I said I was on James's side, but don't fucking all direct it at me. I'm the guest. Treat me with respect.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think once you... This is your third one, right? I
I've
think
been on
that
in over 2 years.
Once... No, you were
No
on
way.
last year. What are you talking
over
about?
over 2 years. I checked the dates.
Really?
No,
Yep.
absolutely no way you were on last year.
Yep, 2 years.
Someone-
I'm just
Someone's going to
saying.
check. Someone's going to check.
Yeah.
Someone to check. We'll
Someone
find out
will
next
check.
week.
Yep.
James, it's
Yeah.
a very serious portion. So we've done the egg chat. We've done we've done the vasectomy chat. Can we get to the very serious news now, please?
Okay.
Yeah, why not? There was more this week than I was expecting. Because
Sounds
sometimes
disappointed.
No, because
What? How much news do you expect? Like,
Well,
what
no,
do you sit there and go 7 bulletins this week? I
no,
predict?
because sometimes you're like, wow, the news has been really popping this week. There's been loads of things happening, and then
prefer
other
that.
weeks you're just like, I don't remember anything that happened this week. And then I went back to it. And I was like, actually, quite a lot of things did. And so yeah.
Okay, well, that's James's review of the news. Can
Yeah.
we get to the actual news now?
So okay, so the first bit of news, I think this is important, is that PlayStation have now got new
I think
CEOs.
this is important.
Yeah, two though, right? That's the twist.
That's the weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like they've gone for two. So they've got Herman
Doubling up.
Holst and Hideaki Nishino have now become the new CEOs of PlayStation. Do you want to hear what they had to say about it?
I honestly don't know.
Do it in the original
Interesting.
Japanese.
Yep.
Well,
Accent and everything.
I'm not.
Go on, James.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing like.
Okay.
Do you remember Console Wars, David?
I do remember Console Wars. Did you know the book Console Wars, Ian?
I don't know the book Console Wars. It
It's
sounds
very
right
good.
up my alley.
Yeah.
it's
just remember
yeah,
it,
it's a
yeah.
it's a brilliant book about the battle between Sega and Nintendo. However, there's an audio book of it where the very American narrator does Japanese accents.
Oh,
And at one point-
well.
Yeah.
Tries to do a little girl's voice when it's a little girl talking to his dad. That, I mean, that's not as bad as I should have started with that and then moved on to the Japanese accent. But it's quite something. It is quite something. James.
Okay, so Herman Holst has said, I'm thrilled to lead the studio business group and continue to build on our success with PlayStation 5 while preparing for the future. The video games industry is one of the largest entertainment industries in the world and has been built on the marriage of content and technology, and I look forward to continuing to push boundaries of play and entertainment. So that was Herman Holst. Hideaki Nishino's got something even more thrilling to say about being part of one of the CEOs or whatever. We will continue to connect players and creators through world-class products, services, and technology. We always strive to grow our business and community even bigger with innovation in every area at Sony Interactive Entertainment. I'm honoured to be appointed such an important role alongside Herman. By working more closely together, we will be positioned to build incredible experiences
Oh,
for an
shut up.
ever-expanding audience now and in the future.
Fucking hell. Can't
yeah.
one of them just come out and go, Herman Holst has now become CEO. His quote was, fuck Xbox forever.
The fucking
Nintendo can
PlayStation
suck my
boss,
dick.
bitch.
Is that
I mean,
what
they
would
don't
be?
need to say that to Xbox, do they? There's no need. But it's
I
like,
heard an
Ooh.
interesting, it ties in with what I read an interesting fact the other day. Do you know the video game industry makes more money than movies and music put together? I find that
Don't believe it.
astounding.
It's,
Yeah, I
it's
just
also
don't believe
it's
it.
not just for kids either. These
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not-
It's for
and the
adults.
music, it's not just bleeps and bloops anymore. It's like real instruments, orchestras.
Yeah.
You know, and they look like films now,
Although
which they're better than.
the last 2 years of games have been shit. Sorry, James, I interrupted
We're
you.
playing
Sorry,
Animal
apologies.
So
go, James.
yeah, so they got these two CEOs now, but they're going to be doing different things. So Herman Holst is going to be for the studio business group, including all of PlayStation's first-party teams and all that kind of stuff. And Hideki Nishino is going to be leading like the platform business group, which is all like the hardware and
Who's above
technology and
them?
stuff. The guy above them is
It's
a guy
still
called
Hiroki
Hiroki
Totoki, isn't
Totoki.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
So
acting
these are the
CEO.
replacements for Jim Ryan.
Who's
Jim
above
Ryan
him?
Jim Ryan was so powerful and capable, they had to replace him with two people.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty smug about yourself when that happens, right? That's got to be a pretty good feeling. Hey, I'm not in charge of this company now, and I only get fucking two.
Yeah, but then he opens the
To do
news and
my
he's like,
job.
"Why does everyone keep calling me the smiling assassin? What's all this? What's going on?"
Okay, well, that's a lovely story about two rich guys getting richer. Let's move on to the next one, shall we?
That's
Richest to
the world.
richest story. I love it.
So
Yeah.
Riches to riches.
the next thing that came out was apparently
dear.
it turns out that Sony have shipped 5 times more PS5 consoles than Microsoft did with the Xbox. But yeah.
That is mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's getting...
I was going to say, I was going to say, haven't we heard this before? But no, the number keeps getting bigger every time. doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Say those
No.
numbers again, James. I wasn't.
So the
listening.
so the PS5 has shipped 5 times more PS5 consoles last quarter than Microsoft did with the Xbox. So it's like 5 to 1.
That's
and-
amazing.
So
I think Helldivers has a big thing to do with that, because that was such a... I think that convinced a lot of people to buy a console, because that was everywhere, right? And also, fucking hell, man, what's going... Maybe this goes some way of showing why Xbox is sort of changing direction so drastically. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And also the other thing about it is, it turns out that 50%, I think it's more than 50% of people that are playing on PlayStation are still playing on PS4. So there's still potential that those people will eventually switch over to PS5 at some point.
Oh, what? If you're still playing PS4, fuck off.
I don't
Have
see-
a word with yourself.
I mean, that's a bit harsh. Not everyone has
Oh,
500 quid,
no,
Dave.
everyone can buy one. Well, just fucking save up then. Save your pennies. Get a PS5. Oh, I'm on PS4.
is-
What you
Stop
paying?
smoking
nothing.
tabs
It
and
is
get rid of your Sky TV. I don't.
100%.
If I didn't, I got a PlayStation 5 during lockdown.
Yeah.
I've met someone on Facebook who we met illegally.
Oh, I remember this, right? I don't know if you probably don't remember. I'm pretty sure you messaged me and said, should I get a PS5? I can get one from someone from Facebook for like £800, wasn't it?
I think it was £600. It was when they just got.
I think it was £800.
I wouldn't pay. No. Yeah. Well, I was still.
This is
working
not
at
the
Talk
time
then.
to be telling us what you wouldn't pay for things
No.
on Facebook.
But if I still had a PlayStation 4, I wouldn't see the point in upgrading to a PlayStation 5.
Well, this is what interests me. Like I was saying earlier this week, like I as a Xbox Series X owner, I assume everything I'm playing is only on the new consoles. I don't actually know that, because they sort of blur the lines. Oh well, you download a game and you get the best version no matter what. There
It's-
could be loads of things I'm playing and enjoying that actually you can still play on an Xbox One. I've got no
that's
idea.
increasingly changed recently, where
Is
there's fewer and fewer games that work on Xbox
Well, not
One.
on Xbox. It's about the same, isn't it? I think it's PS5 where they seem to be changing it a little bit.
No, it's seriously,
look-
because the people that I play with, David, it's like the amount of games that we can now play is like new stuff.
Yeah, they're just ridiculous. That
Yeah.
Look, obviously I'm joking. I think I still think it's crazy how expensive these current gen consoles are. Like, I really do.
That's also why there's not been the flip over, is there, from people going from
Right,
PS4 to
exactly.
PS5?
But also, I do find it really strange. So all of Harry's mates at school, they've all got Xbox Series S's. Like, they're all on Xbox. None of them are playing PS5 because it's a £450 games console. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you could get a £250 one that does Fortnite. They just want to play the latest version of Fortnite. You know what I mean? So I'm surprised that the gap is that big. Genuinely, I'm surprised that the gap is that big.
But the thing is like, if there's loads of people still playing PS4, and you can buy a PS4 for like just over 100 quid or whatever, and you can play Fortnite on that, why do you need to buy like a Xbox? Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's much less reason
I think because kids generally want. I mean, you buy a kid a PS4 these days, what they're gonna be like?
Well, if you
You
buy,
agree with that?
if you buy an Xbox Series S these days, what are they going to be?
No, I that's what I'm saying. I think they like, well, certainly in my experience, and obviously it's very sort of limited pool of people, but like most of the kids have got Series S's, so that's the thing that weirds me out. Like that's where it's like fucking 5 to, like this. We're talking PS5 to the current Xboxes, right?
Xbox Series X and S, yeah.
Yeah, that's mad. That's mad.
And it makes you wonder, because like obviously the Series S has had like a bit of a kicking from some people about it being underpowered, etc. But it makes you wonder how much worse Xbox would be doing without it. Like,
Fucking,
given that it
they'd be
seems to have-
fucked.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I do
the
think
gap
it was
now
the
is so
right call, but it's just hasn't been enough.
Yeah, but how bad is it that they've got a £250 current gen console out there
and they still
and
can't.
they're still not even?
Yeah.
They're in a worse position than they were with the fucking Xbox One.
Does it feel like, and I know it's slightly different because it's Microsoft and it's not its only thing. Does it feel like, when Sega came to an end with making consoles, when they did the Saturn and it didn't really hit, so they threw everything into the Dreamcast and that certainly didn't hit, and they went, you know what, we're out of this. Do anyone else get the vibe that Xbox or Microsoft is potentially heading towards that, where they're going to go, we're not going to do the consoles anymore, we're going to do something else?
I think they've made weird comments, haven't they, around sort of opening things up.
I mean,
but whether that means just putting Xbox stuff on other consoles, or whether it means like you can buy an Xbox the same way you can buy a Windows Surface laptop, but the stuff but you can get Windows on anything. We don't really know what that looks like, basically.
I mean, we've got for the next. I mean, we can move on to the next story because it's related to this. So it says Microsoft bosses are reportedly pushing for no red line around which Xbox games launch on PlayStation. So this is according to Windows Central, and they've said that there's an operation dubbed Latitude, which has sparked debate and unease within the company of whether the move makes sense. And apparently, they said privately, Microsoft is reportedly pushing for no red line at all as to which games Xbox will eventually launch on PlayStation and Nintendo, so that they can increase margins. And Eurogamer said they understand that many other games are under consideration, including like largest franchise games, which presumably means things like Halo and Forza and stuff. Because apparently Satya Nadella, who's CEO of Microsoft, is very into this idea of launching multi-format to raise profits.
You can see why. You can see why from Microsoft's point of view, like Microsoft, in general, this idea of like exclusivity must just seem insane. Because
especially when there's not the returns
it does
there.
when you're this far behind in the race. If they were winning, exclusivity seems like a really important thing.
But do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, Microsoft, Windows is what it is because you could install it on basically anything. And it became a standard because of that.
Yes.
If they went, oh no, we're going to make our own Windows computers and you can only have Windows on those, everyone would be like, well, forget it then.
Yeah, but if Xbox was outselling PS5 5-1, they would not be thinking about.
True, they wouldn't be
up.
worried.
It just wouldn't be. It just wouldn't be a thing. But now they're thinking, hold on, why are we limiting what Forza Horizon can make us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the point? We're clearly not winning anyway, so why not just release it on everything? It makes sense. Here's what I think. If they could get Game Pass on PlayStation, they won't. I'm not saying they will, but if they could get Game Pass on PlayStation, they wouldn't release hardware anymore. I don't think that'd be it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's such a shame. We've said it time and time again. Sony need competition to keep them in line, and I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I hate to see what the next.
See, I still don't think that they're going to shut up shop in terms of like delivering hardware and stuff like that. I don't think they're ever going to. Well, I wouldn't say never going to do that, but I don't think they're going to do that in the next couple of years. It's
no, but as I say, if they turn their focus on the Xbox is now PC under your TV, that changes things somewhat, doesn't it?
If that happens, how long do you reckon Phil Spencer's still going to be running things?
No, I wish I'd made a prediction that Phil Spencer was leaving this year because I think.
No, because we'd all have gone,
surprised.
Fuck off, I had that last year. You can't just...
Yeah, but I think now it's possible.
He's been very
quiet.
quiet.
I am annoyed that I was 1 year early, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he left before the end of the year.
Are you suggesting of his own free will, or he gets?
Yeah, well, either way, we'll never know for sure. But it's probably what's the point? His vision. He's gone out there and he's sold this vision for years, and clearly the business has taken a completely different turn now. And you have to go, well, me as that's what he is, a salesperson. He gets in front of us and he tries to sell a fucking console. I think now you turn around and go, oh, the vision I've been trying to tell everyone for the past 10 years or whatever is not happening. So it's time to move on. That doesn't surprise me if that happens. So.
You can understand why they went for it because like everything around that time, Microsoft was like trying to move everything to subscription services. It's like like Office, Windows, everything they wanted on subscription services. So it made sense. It's like a thing. It just worked out.
Just didn't happen. Yeah. Oh right.
So apparently also there's going to be changes to Xbox Game Pass when Call of Duty is added. So it seems, obviously it seems this is coming to Game Pass, like they are going to add it. But the rumours are there's going to be a reorganisation of Game Pass with different tiers. And the speculation is there's going to be like maybe a more expensive tier for stuff like COD.
Farley's Fantasy Zone.
Yeah, that was from last week. Yeah.
That's a shame. That's a shame because Call of Duty makes so much money post-launch. So much money post-launch. And obviously it makes a lot of money at launch. But if you're struggling to get people to sign up to your service, don't put the fucking price up for that one game. Like, it makes no sense to me.
Unless they're just like, where this is going nowhere. Let's just see if we can make, because they're still going to release it on like PlayStation anyway. So it's just like, well, I might as well try and make what we can off this at the moment.
Which I think is still a flex, right? It's like, well, if you really want to pay 70 quid for it on a PlayStation, then go for it, mate. But it's free on your Xbox.
Yeah, but it's not free. So Game Pass Ultimate is what? How much is Game Pass Ultimate currently? 12 quid?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're saying you can either pay for it for 70 quid or for a year you get Call of Duty for I
You
think
get
of
so many other
12
games
times
with it.
12.
No, obviously viewing it like that.
12
Well,
times 12.
but then ironically, I think we've got a question about this later. They're the people they want to get in, right? The people who only bought Call of Duty and basically nothing else, and those people do, they exist.
144 quid. Double for the year. Got that in there.
Well done.
So they want those.
I
people
just googled
to,
right. I was thinking, do I bring a calculator out? I didn't. I just went to Google and googled 12 times 12, and it come up. I was quite happy with that.
But they want those people to subscribe and then forget that they've subscribed, right? That's essentially the business. Like people like us,
they want
offset
hundreds
it
of millions
by-
of Sean Bells. That's what they want. That's what they want.
No, that's exactly what they don't want, because people like me are saving loads of money by paying for Game Pass and then playing loads of stuff on it that I'm now not having to buy. So to counteract, so for every one of me, they need about 5 COD people who want that one game.
COD people. That's Ian. You're a COD person, aren't you?
You're a COD
That's
player.
all you play, really.
I like COD because I've moved my Xbox and my PlayStation 5 upstairs to the bedroom. I bought a TV. I got it in. It's great. I live on my own. I can do these things. I like COD for the mindlessness of it. It's like a sort of meditation for me, just going in and shooting people and getting shot
Cozy
and stuff.
It's a cozy game.
It's a cozy, familiar, comfortable game. I've been playing games a little bit more actually recently, but yeah, I like a bit of COD. Except they keep doing these massive. I'm like 60 gig update, 80 gig update. I had to get rid of all I've got on my Xbox for various reasons is GoldenEye, Call of Duty, and Fortnite, because there's no room for anyone else. I'm not spending 200 quid on a memory expansion. So if they give me one more update, they can get to fuck.
That is not spoken about enough. The size of Call of Duty is insane.
It's ridiculous.
Like if you've got a Series S, you're filling the hard drive with that one game. It's like, I'm not exaggerating. It's ridiculous. What is it? It's like nearly 200 gig at this point, isn't it?
It is wild, and I don't see. And I know you can delete, different modules and stuff. It doesn't do that much, to be honest.
It doesn't.
One more update, and I just won't have the room for it, and it will go, which is insane. I mean, it's, but yeah, I like a little bit of COD. It's just mindless.
It is mindless. It is good fun. I said, Sean, that you should try it next time it comes out, but then you reminded me that you played it recently and just do not get on with it.
Well, no,
But
I mean, to be fair, I only tried the campaign in Modern Warfare 2, which, I mean, and the campaigns are usually a good laugh, but they're never the reason to play Call of Duty, right? So whenever this next one comes out, obviously I will be subscribed to Game Pass, I assume. Obviously, I'm going to try it out, and if everyone's on the multiplayer, then why not?
What I would say about the multiplayer, and we found this with Halo as well, is that for some reason we've got into this world where it is just you have to play with random people. You go into a random room and everyone's firing against each other, and it's all kicking off, and it's relentless. But what we've done with when we play when we play Call of Duty, or when I play Halo with my mates, every now and then we'll stop doing that and just set up a private room and do custom rules or whatever. And that's when you go, oh shit, yeah, no, this is still fucking really good fun.
That's a lot
just,
of fun.
Yeah,
Different
kicking off with your mates and stuff.
Yeah.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're not getting shot every fight. I mean, I'm absolutely smashing the shit out of Ian. So you kind of feel like one of those.
Let's carry on
players.
talking about the game, David. Let's
Let's move on.
talk about Call of Duty, mate.
Okay. Sorry.
By the
Go
way,
on.
I am totally up for another Rainbow Six Vegas.
We got to do that.
Yeah, that was
we have
so
got.
much
Did you do that with us
fun.
last time, Sean? You were there, weren't you?
I'll be honest, I found the game quite hard work.
Well,
it's
that's because you're a twat.
Okay.
it's a
You've
little
seen this,
clunky.
Ian? He's got, because you're here, he's showing off.
Showing off to the bloke off the telly. I'm not impressed, Sean. I'm not impressed at all.
Good.
I'm impressed with your very well-mannered demeanour in
Thank you.
response to all of this bullshit.
Because you're a twat, Sean.
James is keeping quiet. It's like when another kid gets bullied at school, the one that's normally bullied is like, no, do it, mate.
James is definitely the one that sits there in the corner, just lapping it up. He would have his phone out this day and age, wouldn't he, James?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be out there filming the whole thing.
yes, we absolutely need to do Rainbow Six.
Yes,
Sean's not
please.
invited because we know that he's judging the game.
Well, I would say
Um,
no, wouldn't I? So save me the bother, haven't you? If that's all right.
Okay, cool. Where were we?
We can move on to the next story because it's a
Yes.
bit strange. So, do you remember last week we talked about? Was it
Week
last
before.
week? It was the week before last. Yeah, when I wasn't on, where we talked about how Take Two or Sean, talked about how Take Two had shut down like Roll 7 and Intercept Games, and that this was really bad, and obviously it is really bad. But then, okay, Strauss Zelnick, who is the CEO of Take Two, was speaking with IGN and said some really strange things.
This is so
related to
weird,
this.
isn't it? I was reading this earlier. It's bizarre.
So Rebecca Valentine was interviewing him and then said, about the closure of these studios. And then he said, we didn't shutter those studios, to be clear. And we are always looking at our release schedule across all our studios to make sure that it makes sense. So we're being very judicious because we are in the middle of a cost reduction program that we've already concluded and are now fully rolling out. We've announced that we're saving 165 million in existing and future costs, but we haven't shuttered anything. So then IGN, just again, what had been closed? And they just said, then he said, in the 8K filing that we put out, we talked about the cost reduction plan, blah, 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 blah. And then he says, this gives doesn't give a label by label breakdown of what it looks like. So then IGN asked again, but have you closed these studios? And they just said, we have not provided any additional colour beyond what I just said.
Oh, politician answer, isn't it? Bullshit.
Yeah.
But then the strange thing about this is they've obviously Eurogamer, other games websites have been contacted by people that have said this has happened. That this has been shut down. But
People
it's just,
from the studios.
yeah. And it's very strange. Like the whole thing is very, very strange. So we're not any clearer as to what is going on here, as to whether they've been shut down or not. It seems, they have.
It's
but
like
then...
is his stance literally like, oh no, what we've done is we've sacked X number of people, and hey, if that just happens to be an entire studio, that's but we didn't
that
decide
means that
to
no
close
one
a
can.
like.
Unfortunately, we sacked the guy with the keys to the office.
Yeah.
So
and
now
all the people in the
office is
office.
closed. Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say.
Which
I
is
think
just,
what he's trying to say is that we've sacked enough people, which meant they've closed of their own accord. That seems to be what he's going for.
But we didn't do it. We just, we...
we didn't close the studio. There's just nobody there anymore.
It's like... It's like,
bizarre.
in mafia movies where there's the idiot that gets everything wrong. That's what it sounds like. He's trying to... what the fuck are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And the fact that this is off the bat, that clearly some people have lost the studio that they love.
Yeah.
Fuck that,
So
man.
disrespectful.
It really is
Bizarre.
disrespectful. It's such bollocks.
Yeah.
And yeah, fuck that. That's awful.
In other news, which is also bad, so Player One, who run they run these festivals, like these esports festivals in the
Insomnia.
UK,
Yeah.
and they run Insomnia, and this was originally it was originally started by Multiplay, which was then acquired by Game in 2015, and then it became this events division, which became like Player One events. And then this was acquired again, by another company. But anyway, they have these like Insomnia gaming festivals, and it seems that the entire sales and marketing team have now been laid off for this, and so the festival this year is not happening. And then also, Esports News UK said that only all of them but one of the company's directors have resigned over the last couple of years, and they're gone. But then also, it turns out that people that were working on these from before, like contractors and freelancers, they haven't been paid from before.
Oh, dear.
So that's from the event last year, and nobody is really sure what this means for, because there's also there's RuneFest as well that they run, which is like a RuneScape festival, and that is also doesn't seem to be happening, and it seems the whole thing is kind of collapsed, but nobody is really saying much as to what has actually happened. But
Insomnia is such a strange one, because it's one of those, I've always gathered that it's huge, but it's just something I'm completely out of touch with it being an esports thing. But they ran 2 events for years and years and years and years. It's been massive. But I guess even now, even stuff like this isn't surviving. I mean, because we never talked about EGX getting rolled in with MCM Comic Con, did we?
MCM, yeah. Makes
Which
sense,
is-
I think.
It's probably a smart move, but it doesn't
Yeah.
feel good, does it?
No, it doesn't. And there is part of me that just kind of thinks, why can't we get this to work over here? Like, what's going wrong? It's so bizarre. I mean, EGX was terrible the last few years. Why? Like, surely there's enough for a decent gaming expo over here. I don't understand why it's just not.
And you just look at streams like 'cause I follow a few IRL streamers now because I find it like guy who just walks around New York and stuff, and he went to PAX, I think it was, and it's just such a fucking vibe compared to like what EGX is now. It's just stuff going on everywhere. It's like full of people in like cosplay and stuff, and just like whereas the EGX just
Well, I
feels
think
like,
I genuinely think them joining with MCM will help because MCM was a little bit more lively in that regard. I do feel that EGX had that for a while. Like there was a bit of a vibe there, but we stopped doing live shows there. It went downhill. I think that might have something to do with it. But I just think gaming's as big as ever, right? Like what? How is this not?
Well, that's the thing.
How is there not like an event in the year in the UK where you can go shit and everyone's got to go there?
Because
It's
like
crazy.
Gamescom is like massive. Like it's huge, like in Europe, like
Yeah, yeah,
Gamescom,
yeah.
and it's like it's just weird that that hasn't.
There are
translated over.
huge retro events. I went to one in Blackpool, the replay thing. I know it's not as big as Comic Con or the Japanese game show or any of those things. It was massive. There were a few thousand people there. So there
What
is.
was it? What was that like, Ian? Was it? What do they have there? Is it just tons of retro consoles and you can just go and play whatever you want? Or?
They have this massive hall. I don't know how sensitive to noise you are, Sean, with your ADHD. I'm very sensitive to it.
Yeah,
it
I'm quite
can
bad.
be
I have
physically
the
painful.
little earplugs.
It was this massive. I've just bought some loops, which I'm going to try.
Oh yeah.
I've not tried them yet. Anyway, it's the massive hall, and the noise was physical. I had to go back out and go, right, I've got to steel myself for this. So a huge hall that's full of arcade cabs, full of, you've got a big row of Spectrums and Intellivisions and all of that stuff. Massive stage where they were doing, they had, I can't remember
Wet
his name.
T-shirt competitions and
I'm going to ignore that. The guy that made Doom, John, I say Romero, but he's the film
John
director.
Romero.
It's John Romero,
Is it John Romero?
or was it John Carmack? Because there's
John Romero.
Okay.
And they had him doing like a playoff. People would come up and play against him. They had a section with Evercade, which are these sort of new consoles and stuff. Then you've got a room where people are selling stuff, and then you've got a hall where people are giving lectures and talks and stuff. And yeah, it's not 20,000 people, but there were a few thousand people there for both days, and the vibe was great. So there's clearly a market for people going and spending a weekend in a part of the country playing games, talking games, buying games, watching talks about them, watching celebrities play stuff on stage. So I don't see why it can't be done for modern games.
TCGS Con. We got to be We got to take up. We found a gap in the market. Let's do it.
What
you
we
got
have
to
to
find
do
a
is
venue?
get several hundred arcade cabs and pinball machines. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Have you got a location for London yet?
No, we
No,
haven't.
but we've all just stopped talking about it.
It's sort of given up, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's not
Play
been
Expo's
easy.
wicked. I've been I don't know if they still do it. They used to do one near Manchester. No,
Yes.
that's right. Then it moved into Manchester, and there was like the pinball section's amazing.
Oh,
because pinball's one of those things that you might occasionally have a go on and be like, oh, it'd be really nice to actually get into this, but I don't have 10 grand for a machine, so never mind. So to just be able to just have a go on loads of them and actually just
Yeah,
pick
totally.
a table and be like, right, I'm going to learn Terminator 2 today. Like it's really good.
I should go. Is there retro? There must be a retro gaming one in London, right?
I can't. They do a few around the country. You're right, Sean. I don't know if there is one in London. Actually, I don't know.
What?
Google
No.
it. Google it.
All right, I'll Google it.
Play Expo.
If it is, we're going.
Play
we'll
Expo.
go.
Yeah, I got the name wrong. Yeah, it's
is.
they do
And
a
then
few
you've
around
got-
the country.
WSAD. I've really want to go to that expo, but I've never been able. WASD. WASD.
Yeah, WASD.
I really want to go to that expo at some point, but I've not been able. It's not just been possible, but I need to do that because that sounds like a really fun one. Okay. Next
story is Valve's got a new game coming out, apparently, which is pretty exciting because they Half-Life and all that kind of stuff. But it's a hero shooter called Deadlock,
Of course.
and apparently there are hundreds of people currently playing, testing it. There's been like images from like private play tests of people playing 6 versus 6, etc. And apparently it's been in development since 2018, and it's got tower defense mechanics and fantasy setting mixed with steampunk. Are you excited, Sean? You look excited.
Yep.
it's all the words that you like, Sean, isn't it?
It certainly is. No, sorry, I was just looking at this Play Expo stuff to see if there is one in London. But yeah, I mean, Valve doing a new game is. I guess it's exciting. It's been that long since they've done one. I don't really know if they still know how to.
Yeah. Do you
Do you know
remember
what I mean?
when Rare came back? You were like, "This isn't Rare."
Yeah, they made Sea of Thieves. It was fine.
Yeah. Sorry, Sean.
That's right. Yeah, I no idea what to make of this, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Final story is that GTA 6 is now apparently
Been the
coming
longest
out.
news section of all time. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's because you keep interrupting Turners, not
Yeah.
me.
All right, don't ever go at me. I asked you one.
I mean, look,
Go on.
it has been weak this week. I'm sorry. It has been. It's been a washout. Like it's not been. It's not,
What, the
I'm
show?
enjoying this
The
conference.
show? How does that make me feel? Fucking hell.
it's not been a
Stop
great
there.
news segment. It's like the stories are not great, and yeah, that is on me. And yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Glasgow, Manchester, and Blackpool.
Okay.
Ah, it's too far.
We'll go to Manchester. Let's do a road trip to Manchester.
Yeah, mate.
All right, okay. We'll do that. No, we will do that. You want to do that? Let's
I'll
do
drive. I'll drive.
Genuinely, that would be fucking class.
It
Let's
would
do
be.
Alright,
I'm
let's do
totally
that.
up for it.
I mean, I don't need a road trip, obviously.
I don't have any friends.
Oh, there you go.
that. Okay, let's do it then. I'm your friend. Go on, James. What you said?
GTA 6 is coming out in
GTA 6.
autumn of 2025, apparently.
All right, we kind of knew that though, didn't we?
No, they've officially announced it now. Although that probably means 2026.
Have they officially announced it?
Yeah, Take Two have said we are highly confident. Oh, this is boring. But yeah, it's they basically said
Well,
yeah.
that's
it's
it.
coming.
That's it for the news then.
I
That's
think
it
we've
for the
lost
news.
him, Dave. I think
Yeah.
he's...
Should we go to what you've been playing? Fucking hell! What a way to end the news. Jesus,
Well, no,
have you
it's
got a
just-
fantasy
it wasn't
zone?
great, was it, this week?
No,
It's
all
sort of
right,
a bit
okay,
crap.
well,
It started
I
off
mean,
all right, and then it went down.
It went on for 3 hours. You could have maybe. What you been playing this week? I'll start because we just follow on from last week's Animal Well. Finished that game. Got the credits and stuff. Sat there and started finding all the eggs and that. I really like that game. It's got some really annoying bits. It's what's really funny is that last week, Sean and James were talking about some very frustrating parts of that game, and I was like, "You're just being babies." Turns out they were just the last couple of bits that I needed to do before I got down
saved them all.
to the. And I was like, "Yeah, it's the flying." It's definitely a cat, Sean. I don't know why you think it's a flying ghost dog. It's definitely
It's
a flying
clearly a
ghost
It's
dog.
in
cat.
the dog area.
It's a
That's the whole
fucking
point.
frisbee that you're
And
trying
it's
to get
called-
off you.
And it's
There
called
are
the,
dogs in there. It
Yeah.
looks like a cat. It
and it's
looks
called
exactly
the
like a
Canine
cat.
Shrine.
The Canine Shrine.
I'm telling you, it's a
Dave.
cat.
It's
It's a cat in that canine shrine.
Dog.
I would say that was fucking annoying. That's probably the worst bit of the game.
We're
Because
using.
it's-
There's a way to mitigate it.
No, because I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't
tried
know.
to
I didn't
explain it to
discover
him,
the
but-
song.
Yeah.
I didn't discover the song until after
Right.
I'd completed the game.
Okay.
But I still
That
really
must
liked
that
it.
must have been frustrating.
Not really, because I don't think it saves you that much, does it?
It
Yeah,
does.
I used
Yeah.
it loads.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, I found that at the end of the game. Very, very good. Really enjoyed it, and I'm loving going back and finding a bunch of secret stuff. You know,
Cool.
finding all these
how
bits
many
and
eggs you
pieces.
want?
I am just about. I think I'm like 2 eggs away from opening the 3rd door.
Okay.
So,
Oh, you
and then
had
I've
to
got
win
to
one
get
of
the
them.
rest of it.
So
Yeah,
a
I've got loads.
fiver's worth of eggs.
About 5 of 5 worth. Well, funny enough, I was thinking about this game on the way to work today. I was thinking Animal Well. I'm going to talk about Animal Well, and then I just thought, well, do you remember when Ian fell down a well? That's the way my brain works when I'm driving to work.
Come on, this is not funny stuff.
Can we talk
Trauma
about
is not
that just
funny.
briefly? Because this was genuinely one of the best things ever. Could you explain what actually happened?
Okay. After I came out of the jungle, the papers would write any old shit about me. I would say something on the radio. I'd had 10 years of doing radio where no one really listened, no one cared. And I came out of the jungle, and anything I said on the radio was in the papers. It was in the papers. Yeah, he's getting divorced. He's a drug addict.
It was mad, and what was mad
fun
is
stuff.
that they were putting stuff in the papers that you'd said like 2 or 3 years ago. So your listeners and
They gone
stuff were
listen to
like,
that, yeah.
"What? But this has been out there for years. What is this on the papers for?" It's really weird.
So my friend Scott Balcony of Balcony Shirts, he has this running gag. And years ago, he'd said, "Why don't you do a phone in asking, have you ever fallen down a well?" And we did that. And on Twitter, I tweeted something like, "Oh, the papers are right, any old shit about me." And he tweeted, "Try and convince them you've fallen down a well." So I did. So I just did a series of tweets going, "Shit, guys, bit of bad news. I'm stuck in a well. I don't know if I'll get in time for the show."
That was it. You were tweeting saying that you were stuck in a well.
And it was constant tweeting. I think I'm going to be late for the show. Some good news. The emergency services have found me and they're blue lighting me and they're going to drive me in and all of this shit. And it got in the papers. And this is, where we are. Well, I was going to say no one questioned it. There was one journalist who questioned it, this guy at the Milton Keynes Citizen who hated me. And he was phoning up my agent for quotes and he was trying to find out the truth. He said he was trying to find out which fire brigade it was. And so it got in the papers and it became this thing. And I went, on the way to work, I went to a hospital one day and put a bandage around my head and sat in a wheelchair and had a picture of me going like that. And I was doing some work.
That was
work.
the owl, wasn't that the owl?
Oh, the owl. The owl was the one. There was the second one.
This
Was I
wasn't
got
the
attacked.
only thing that you fabricated for the papers.
I got attacked by an owl in what turned out to be a cruising area. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. Well, maybe we'll do it next time. But I
remember.
I was on Good Morning Britain, right, as a regular thing for about 3 or 4 weeks doing the showbiz news. And the day it got in the papers, I was doing it the next day, and I got a phone call. The producer would phone saying, "Well, these are the stories we're going to do." By the way, are we able? Look, I'm really sorry about what happened in the well. Are we able to talk about it?
In the well.
And I thought, here we go. And I then thought, I'm going to chance my arm. I said, "Yeah, we can, as long as you treat it sensitively, because it's very upsetting. And also, I'll need to wear a neck brace." And they went, "Yeah, sure, of course." And so I went in. It's on YouTube, as of course everything is these days. And I went in. I can't remember who it was. It was Kate. I can't remember her last name. Anyway, they had a tiny.
It was Kate Garraway, wasn't it?
Kate Garraway. They had a tiny little well set up in the studio, and they were all the time. The producer going, "Now listen, Ian, are you okay with this? And I said, "Yeah, but we've got to take it. So yeah. If you're not okay with this, please just say, and we'll pull it." And then so I'm there, and Kate Garraway said, "Do you mind telling us what happened?" And basically, the story I came up with was, it was a wishing well. I chucked 20p in. It had got stuck near the top, so it wouldn't count as a wish. So I reached in to try and get it, and I fell down the well. And I acted it out.
They must have known.
I was going to say, but surely they were like trying to call you bluff or just see.
If you watch it, the respect with which they treat the story is, and I think I'm saying it. This is really serious. I'm still a bit traumatized. There's the picture.
The respect in which they treat the story. They put a little well next to you.
That's me pointing
for
to
the
it,
podcast
saying that's
listeners. Yeah, Dave just found a picture of it. It is a tiny well into which nobody could fall. I don't think.
Also,
that was me pointing to it, going, "This is a bit upsetting seeing this again."
To be able to text, I text you after that Good Morning Britain appearance, and it was mainly because you got such a good innuendo in there that I was sitting. I remember watching it because I was so obsessed with this lie and the fact that it was in the papers, and I knew you were on Gone Born in Britain the next day, and I turned it on, and there you were with the neck brace, which was so fucking funny because it was like a cartoon neck brace, right? I don't think they actually do them anymore, and you said this. And it killed, like, honestly, I was struggling. Joe walks into the front room. I'm on the floor laughing, right? Right, listen to this. Where is it?
It's not funny.
I'm sorry, it's not funny. You look
It takes me an hour to get out of bed because I'm so stiff.
I mean, it's just genius. It's just genius.
I have to say, I've been doing it for a while, and like the week or 2 weeks before that, they'd said, Ian, it's going really well. You coming on? The viewer numbers pick up when you're on. The clips we're putting out on social media, it's double what we'd normally get. Would you be interested in? It was when Piers Morgan was doing it. Would you be interested in when Piers goes on holiday, maybe filling in for him? And I was like, yeah, of course I would. Okay, well, we'll organise. What we'll do after the show one day, we'll do a test run through of the show, and it'll be a formality, and then we'll get you in. Of course, after that event, they never asked me to fill in for Piers Morgan at all.
A shame.
That never happened, and the work.
You got
dried
very
up pretty
similar
quickly.
vibes, so I don't know how they didn't look at that and just go, "Well, you'd be the perfect." You just it's like for like substitution.
Like
isn't
for
it?
like substitution with Pierce. I used to call him Pierce. Yeah, the well thing was wild. The next time I'm on, I'll talk to you about the owl. But it was a strange time of, of listening. I would talk about stuff on radio that was quite personal, and no one really cared. And then after the jungle, we had a couple of journalists phone up, pretending to be callers, going. And obviously fishing for stories, about exciting drug parties and things like that. It was a very peculiar time. The final thing, the week I came back, this is so weird. You would have like young women phone up and go, "Is that Ian?" "Yeah." "Ah!" And they would actually scream down the phone. It was insane. But yeah, I'm very proud of the well. And my female pal, as she was described in the paper, Catherine, was very much part of that whole experience as well.
The owl thing is a similar story, but what I love about the owl thing is the photo of you coming out of A&E after being attacked by a well. Honestly, one of my favourite photos of all time. It's honestly one of my favourite. And do you know what was amazing? The amount of people trying to disprove the story. Well, actually, I think you'll find there was no reports of fire brigade. I think someone called the fire brigade. I'm sure they did. I read that somewhere.
The owl thing, as more and more of the story came out, it turned out it was a cruising area, and I'd been on my knees at the time because I was tying my shoelace up, and the owl came in and swooped in. It was,
What did you say? You said I was attacked from behind.
I was attacked from behind, and but they went with that shit. It's that's where we are, guys. That's
That's the best.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
That is
I'm
the
glad you
fucking
enjoyed
best.
it.
I did. And that's what I thought of Animal Well, the video game that's available on your PS5, which you can buy now.
PC and your Switch. I haven't played any more of it this week.
You
For
got to
no
finish
real reason.
it.
I
It's
will.
really good.
100% I will, yeah.
It's really. Do you know if you hold down the X button for a long time, he turns into the fox from that puzzling fox game?
What?
You know the puzzle fox game? What's it called? The one with where you got
Tunic.
to piece together the Tunic. Yeah, he turns into Tunic if you hold down the X button. It goes little tip for you
Blimey.
there, for you gamers.
As in what?
That's
Is it
not a
like?
spoiler.
Or is it just
That's
looks
not a
slightly
spoiler.
different.
No, he changes into the fox.
Yeah.
And then the moment you can't move as him, you just let go,
Right.
and then it turns back into a little brown blob.
Doesn't
Little
get a sword.
Don't get a sword. No, there's no sword. No sword involved. Ian, let's go to you. Let's hear what you've been playing, because you've been playing video games.
I have been very quickly. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. I'm thrilled. My kids will phone me up and say, "Daddy, do you want to play Fortnite?" I'm totally into that. I can't build, so that we either play non-building games, which they've got now, or they carry me with the build. That, whatever you think about it, that game is so good. It's so much fun. It's so good, particularly if you're playing duos. It is absolutely brilliant. So I just want to throw that in, that it gets kind of a bad rap and stuff, but even I don't even know how long it's been out. But
So do you know what we've been doing?
Go on.
We've been doing split screen on the Xbox on the main telly, me
Oh,
and Harry.
yeah.
And then Charlie's joining in the Switch. And right,
Fun,
I know what
right?
you're thinking. Yeah, it's brilliant. Like we have such a good laugh. Like, and some of the shit Charlie shouts out is hilarious. Like while we're playing, it's like sometimes
Like
he
smack
likes
talk.
going in his bedroom.
Brilliant.
So that we can't really hear him, but you can hear him like echo down the hallway. But like, and I know what you're thinking. He's 5 years old. Oh, he shouldn't be playing shooting games. Totally agree. We didn't let Harry play until he was like 10. But how do you turn around to the little one and go, no, you can't do this. Go away. You give up with the second child. You give up. You just let them do it.
Because it's not like. What's bedtime like? Does Charlie go to bed before Harry?
Oh God, yeah.
But even
there's
so, I
such
guess
a
there's
big
not
age gap.
much of a window there for
No,
like Harry to
God,
play
no,
stuff
no,
that's
no,
inappropriate for Charlie. or
No,
something.
no, yeah. The problem we have is that because there's such a big age gap, he can't play in his bedroom. Like they share a
course.
bedroom,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like he could play there because like Harry goes. So they play in the front room all the time. So there's no avoiding it. It's but
the thing
it's
with
underrated. It's underrated.
It's so much fun. The thing with Fortnite as well, it's like watching a Tom and Jerry cartoon. It's not Call of
Yeah.
Duty. The
No, no,
violence is the only thing that makes me wince a little bit, and James will identify with this. The lady characters are a bit sexual. I know James likes
Really?
playing wank
In
games.
Fortnite?
So,
What? Where's this come from?
well, you're playing that game the
your
other
your
day.
whole personality.
You're
Yeah,
playing that
that's
game
what
the other day that
actions-
was soft porn, and then
I don't know, but
went
it's
out.
not. I didn't choose it for that reason. It's had very good gameplay mechanics.
Just a
okay,
bonus.
right. Well, he took your penis, but it is. If Fortnite is so much fun, it's such a good game, and I just wanted to throw that in there. And clearly, Dave, you're having similar experience with your kids.
Yeah, I am.
playing it.
Yeah, totally.
See, I
yeah.
still like because I mean Isaac's not got into it. I don't think he could do it. Oh, mind you, he holds his own in Splatoon now, which is weird because I'm shit at that now. But yeah, like I still quite like Fortnite. Just literally just loading it up every 6 months and just being like, what is it now?
Yeah.
Because I'm so disconnected from it. It's kind of amazing just loading it up and being like, oh, it's a different island. There's all this
Yeah.
new shit. Goku's in it. I forget, like,
couple of more points about Fortnite. Firstly, I understand the irony of me calling it underrated when it's one of the most successful video games of all time. And secondly, when Harry plays with his mates, right, from school, I look over at the screen and go, this is the closest to Ready Player One I've ever seen. Because they're all like these noticeable characters from other things. That's their character. And they'll show up in the same areas of that. And I'm like, feels like fucking Ready Player One, right? Because there's Darth Vader for some reason. Like, what's he doing here? I think they've got they're putting Fallout like power armor and stuff into it. Soon. It's just bizarre. What a weird.
Did you hear
world
about all
that
the
is.
stuff with Nintendo with that? Because they were talking about putting like Samus into the game.
Oh, yeah.
But
Really?
yeah, but then they were like, but apparently Nintendo wouldn't allow it to happen unless it was only visible on the Switch. Like, as in, like the character model was only
Sake,
visible.
what is the
on it.
matter
Never
with
gonna
them?
happen.
Just yeah, okay.
But also,
All right.
one final thing on Fortnite. During lockdown, I let my kids play pretty much of it as they wanted because they were online with their mates. You know,
Yeah,
they weren't allowed
social,
to socialize or see people. So they're playing Fortnite and they're talking about everything. So I'm a big, big fan of Fortnite. Right. 2 games I've been playing this week. I knew I was coming on. And I knew I was in the place of Matt, so there was part of me that thought, I won't play anything. I'll talk about my life now and breaking my bones and stuff like that.
Shit
I thought,
puns.
no.
Shit puns.
Yeah, I thought, no, I'm going to try and set him an example that maybe he can rise to. So I've been playing a couple of games. First game I played, because it looked good. You remember that cat game where he got a robot attached to him, an antenna?
Straight.
Stray. Oh, shit, right. I saw Little Kitty, Big City, and I thought, oh, this is the game that I thought Stray was going to play. Well, I've renamed it Little Kitty Bit Shitty because it looks amazing. It looks beautiful, right? And it took me a while to work out what you had to do. And once I got it, it was great. I'm not really a side mission kind of guy. I did a few side missions. I did the ducks and I did a couple of other ones. But I just like to get the story done, right? I want to get the story done.
What does the ducks mean?
Well, it's a side mission, but I don't want to
Okay.
spoil. I'm not going to spoil it unless
Sorry.
you want me to spoil the ducks. I won't. So I thought, right, I'm just going to do the main mission, and about an hour and 40 minutes into it, an hour and 45, you've got to get home basically. I thought, shit, I think I've nearly done this. I'm nearly home. It took about 2.25 hours to complete the story, and it goes, do you want to? We're going to unlock more of the map. It says it in a more fun way than that. There's more to do, and the crow says, "Do you want to come and do some more?" And I went, "No, I don't." Really,
Mr. Crow.
because there was no real challenge. There's some cute stuff in it, right? There's, as you know, I've got multiple cats. I've got kittens next door at the moment. There's a great bit where you've got to knock jam jars off a shelf and you walk over a computer and it ruins what's being typed on there. There's loads of stuff like that. But I'm not very good at puzzlers, as I'll say in the next game. But it was really, really simple. Excuse me. It was really simple. It's wafer thin. There's really not much to it, and I completed the main story in 2 hours. I suspect there may be another hour. I think it's about 3 hours, 3.5 hours if you do all of it. It was on Game Pass, so okay. I think it's like 20 quid on Switch.
Wow.
It is, yeah, because I was interested in this for Rachel because she saw the trailers for it and seemed really up for it because she loves all that kind of, she liked that Untitled Goose Game, which this seems to be a little bit kind of similar to. And but then I saw it was on Game Pass, so she played it. She played it for about 45 minutes, and I said, well, so what do you think? What do you think of the game? And she was like, oh, it's really good. Never went back to it.
Yeah.
She had no interest in
Wafer thin.
continuing it. Yeah.
Isaac's played quite well. I mean, he's probably put about an hour and a half into it. But again, and he if he likes something, he fucking obsesses over it. He's not asked for it again since.
I probably wouldn't have played as much if I wasn't doing this. And I was actually maybe I would, because I was playing it and I thought, I'll see how far I am into it. And I saw I probably had about another half hour, 40 minutes. I thought, well, I'll complete it. It's only the third computer game I've ever completed, guys. Unbelievable. It's a true story.
What are the other ones?
It takes two of us.
Yeah.
Ah,
Both
that's
of
good. It
both
takes
of these
two.
with my youngest son Kim, who's only 12, and we twice completed A Way Out. Now,
Oh, wow.
you talk about inappropriate games for
Yeah.
kids. Once we got to the third motherfucker, it was like, all right, Kim, don't tell your mum, all right? And which is not great parenting, I know, but he absolutely loved it, and we completed that twice. I really wanted to enjoy this, and it just looks so good, right? And the cat is great, and there's a cat outside of Greengrocers that looks like my cat Big Boy, and it gets the cat mechanics right. It's just a bit flimsy. It's not really much to it. Someone's put in the chat, 22.49 on Switch. 19
That is
quid
pretty
on
bad, isn't it?
Steam.
For a 2-hour game, like a game that you can blitz through in 2 hours, that's not
It's-
on, is it?
I would strongly suggest it's not worth that money. On Game Pass, yeah, sure, you want to, do some simple puzzles for an hour or so, yeah, have a go, but I wouldn't pay for it.
So you didn't play this then, James, because it was on your profile.
No, it wasn't me playing it. It was, I downloaded it obviously, and then started it up, and then switched over so they could play.
Okay, shame. Like Nintendo were pushing this more than anyone else, I think. So to hear that
it was on that direct and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, they've featured it twice, I think. So I was like, why are they focusing on this? I mean, it doesn't look particularly brilliant, but there you go. Okay, what else have
I
you got?
played another puzzle game because I completed that. I thought, well, let's do something else, and I was keen to dig around on Game Pass a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I saw another game that was really short. I think it's about 3 hours, called Cocoon. Have you guys played? It feels like a Sean game.
This
To
was
me.
Almost our game of the year.
Yeah, we've all-
this
we've
got
all
to
played
the-
this, yeah.
Did you get to the final? Yeah.
Was this last year?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably why I went for it, because that was ringing somewhere. So it did really well in Game of the Year.
God, yeah. Oh no, here he goes.
What do you?
Oh.
I want to go one at a time. Sean, then James, and David. What did you think I made of this game? Sean.
Oh god, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you generally get on with puzzle stuff. So, but I've got a feeling you're about to disappoint us because you seemed shocked that it's made it to the end of the game or nearly
Okay.
to the end of the game
So,
of the year
You
list.
think I'm not going to like it?
Yeah.
James?
I think this is a bit, and I think you really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay, James. David, you know me. Perhaps the best out of all of these people, unfortunately, because I'd really like to be friends with Sean. Tell me, what do you think I made of this game?
Uninstalled it within 20 minutes.
I fucking loved it. I
One of
loved
us.
it.
One of us. Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It's the same people that made Limbo, is it? I think.
It's like two of the people who worked on Limbo, I think.
It's got very similar style to it, I think, even though it's completely different. It's got very similar sort of look to it.
Oppressive feeling, yeah.
No, so I love the look, and once I worked out what I've just seen my audio. I think I'm peaking too much. Good luck mixing it. Once I worked out what it was, I absolutely loved it. I've done most of the puzzles myself. It's been that nice thing where there's been a few I've had to go and look up, but not too many. And when I've looked it up and seen it, it's like, oh, you fucking idiot. Of course that's what you do. The one thing I don't like is the boss battles. I don't feel the need to have the boss battles. I don't really see what it does. The first one took me ages. The second one I did quite quickly. I'm about halfway through. I've got the 3 crystals now, or 3, crystals. So I don't really see the need for the boss battles, but that's a tiny thing. I love it. It's just sort of nudging the level where I struggle with puzzles a bit because I'm old and not great, but I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think the fear of how complicated it's going to get outweighs what it's like when you get there, because
Yes.
it never goes too far. I think while I was playing that game, there were several times where I was thinking, this is going to get to the point where it's going to spin me out so much that I won't know where to go.
Yeah, it's going to be worlds within
And
worlds within worlds within, and I'm just going to start crying, and that'll be it.
And that was what some people were complaining about, right? Some people were complaining about that it didn't get that complicated and that actually it was really straightforward. And I just thought, okay, well, that's fair enough. People are looking for different things in getting games. But I never want to get to a point where I'm like, I've got to watch a YouTube video to get through this because I don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
It was so nice, like how like so many of the puzzles were like kind of like self-contained, like within areas and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it
it was
does. Like
And
the amount of times you
shutting
thinking
doors
like,
behind you.
It
yeah,
leads you
exactly. The
to
amount of times you're thinking like, oh fuck, do I need to go back? Like, do I need to hold like the previous area in my head? And it's like, no, because I've been shot off from it, so I know that's not part of it.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Sean. There were bits when I thought, I fucked this up because I've got the wrong crystal and I'm in the wrong area. Well, if you have fucked it up, it will let you go back. And if you haven't fucked it up, you're stuck there and you've got to work out what's going on. It's really intuitive. I found it nice and chilled. It was, if I got I think I've probably looked at YouTube maybe 3 times. And as soon as you see it, you go, oh, fuck. I was trying to complicate it when actually it's a little bit simpler.
Yeah, I have that problem with a lot of these sort of puzzle games where you sit there and you really just try and overcomplicate the puzzle in your head when actually the solution is like pretty straightforward. It's a shame you're not enjoying the boss battles. I thought they were really nice to look at, but also I thought they were really quite clever in what they asked you to do. Because it's one of those where it's like when you first go into it, you're like, what am I supposed to do here? It's like a puzzle in itself. What am I supposed to do? And then you're chucked out.
I really struggled with the first one. It took me ages, and I stopped it and then went back. And the second one actually, which is like this squid, and you've got to drop. That was really beautiful. But to me, I'd rather just do the puzzles and go within the worlds.
It's just a bit of a different skill set versus the rest of the game, isn't it? I think.
But that's a tiny thing. It's just the boss battles are a small part of it, and I got really excited every time I went into a new world. So I've just gone into the purple world. I've been in there a bit, and you go, fucking hell, this looks. Everyone looks amazing. It's got its own distinct features. I think it's brilliant. I'm gonna.
I wish I could think of similar games to recommend to you off the back of it, but there's nothing quite like it, is there?
In terms
Like,
of
if you
puzzle stuff.
Yeah, like I mean, some people will probably say, well, no, if you like that, then play Death's Door. But I would say Death's Door is so combat focused
Yeah.
that's going to be like I don't think that's a good recommendation after Cocoon.
Well, thanks
gonna
for
have
that,
to
Dave.
think.
Appreciate you.
Here's
your
the game that I
helpfulness.
would not recommend
Yes.
off the back of this.
But so that's what I've been playing, and I'm grateful that you've asked me on because I thought, right, I'm gonna make the time to sit down and play some stuff, and I don't always do that. And actually, I've been digging around Game Pass, and there's some more bits and pieces I'm curious to have a look at. So I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna treat myself to a little bit more time playing some
I
stuff.
wonder
Yes.
if, and Dave didn't get on with this. I wonder if you would like Botany Manor.
No, you no, you wouldn't. I was thinking Animal World is probably the closest to this.
I'm gonna write
Animal
both of
World is a
them
good
down.
shout.
But then Animal Wells, there's a lot of like
It's irritating
Tricky platforming
platforming
and
bits.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Oh.
tough, isn't it?
Oh, there you go. Phil
Tough.
on the chat says The Gamer did an article, 7 games to play if you
Oh.
like Cocoon. Limbo, obvious. The Witness, yeah.
What about the Viewfinder? That one.
Viewfinder, yeah. also good.
Viewfinder is excellent. Have you played that, Ian?
I've not played Viewfinder.
That is
on? That's
a
on
very good. You'll like
Game
that, I
Pass, is
think.
it?
It's
Or have I got paid
don't
for it?
know. I played it on PlayStation.
Viewfinder,
Alright.
no, yeah, Viewfinder's only on
Thank you
PC
for that
and
list. I'll
PS.
have a look at that.
PlayStation,
And one
yeah.
final thing. I know this isn't a game, and I will shut up because I've been talking for ages. But I've heard you talk many, many times, and I think it was last week, about James playing LA Noire in VR and the bit where he was supposed to punch someone, but he was slapping someone. And I think you mentioned it last week or the week before. And I thought, shit, I've got to watch this. I didn't realize it was so early on in the thing, and I timed it right. So it's a tutorial, and there's this guy being quite unpleasant, and you've basically got to punch him 3 times and then move on. And James is slapping him and getting out of breath. I timed it 6 minutes and 15 seconds. I swear to God, 6 minutes and 15 seconds of James slapping this bloke, going, "Is this it? Is this it? Is this? I'm so out of breath. Is this a glitch?" And then he finally punches him and goes, "Oh, right, that's how you do it." 6 minutes and 15 seconds. It's on your YouTube channel. I thoroughly recommend anyone listening to this. It's probably about 10, 15 minutes into the video. Go and watch it. I laughed. Thank you, James. I laughed so hard. It was absolutely brilliant.
That's before we knew you this well, and there's a episode of that him playing LA Noire where obviously when you can't see the chat with the headset on.
Yeah.
So what James did
Call him
was
in
put
a cum dump and a ball sack.
yeah. So what we did, he put text to speech on, and there's one bit where we managed to convince him that you had joined the channel to watch him, and he got all funny about it because everyone was going like, I put like hello, and then everyone went, "Wow, hi Ian, hi Ian, hi Ian, hi Ian." And like he's like, "I know he's not there. Is he there? If he's there, hi Ian." It's like, "Oh."
I'm having that.
I'm sorry now. I've got to go back to my radio shows. I think. Oh my God.
I will find that. Yeah, there were people calling him a cum dump within the first 5 minutes. Very, very quickly. That reminds me when I a few years ago I discovered Consolvania. The podcast. And I got really into it. And I was tweeting, I found this. I know I'm late to the party, but this is great. Episode 5. That Iain Lee is a right C word. And I tweeted them and said, I just heard this, guys, and I think it's funny. I didn't think it's funny. I cried. Don't know why I'm telling you that. This is my therapy.
Yeah,
today.
well, one of them said some bad stuff about us when we were on the radio, so I'm not that bothered.
Good.
By those chaps. It makes Sean really awkward, that story, doesn't it, mate?
Well, then cut this bit out. Cut this bit out. We don't.
No,
know.
no,
It came from nowhere.
my bit, not your bit.
Ben in the chat says Rab Florence is a wank anyway, which I'm just repeating
Right, okay.
without condoning or condemning.
Who's next to tell us what they've played this week?
Yeah. Sean.
Hello. I should have been, being me, also being a wank. I should have been playing Lorelei and the Laser Eyes this week. I have not done that because I've been playing Ghost of
That's
Tsushima.
my next game.
Director's
That sounds...
got
Sorry, I know you
got
do. What is that game called again?
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. So
Right,
because I
these-
figured I'd shelve it
that's
because I
my
know
next
Matt's excited about it and he's not here this week, so I figured we'll have a big chat about that next week.
Okay, cool.
I should say it's very kindly given a code for Ghosts of Tsushima Director's
Oh, here
Cut
we
on
go.
Steam.
Oh, yeah.
Just declaring it. We don't always bother, so I thought
Yeah.
probably should.
Hashtag ad.
So I play this on the PS4 back in the day. overall, really enjoyed it. Mixed feelings about some elements of it, particularly the story, the fact that it does this whole thing of you're a samurai and you've been living by this code your whole life, but now you're faced with impossible odds. Do you or do you not become somewhat of a war criminal? And it's sort of, it's teaching, here's all these underhand techniques you can now start using. You can assassinate people, you can throw knives at people, you can use bombs, like smoke bombs, and do all this cool shit. But should you? Ooh, because it's dishonorable. And playing the game through for the first time, I thought, is there going to be like a meaningful choice in how I play? Like, is it reading how I play the game, right? And is the story going to like switch it up at some point depending on my actions or whatever? And it turned out, no, it doesn't, right? You kind of just railroaded down this one path. However, so like returning to it now, knowing that, I'm having a fucking brilliant time because I don't give a shit. About playing it honorably.
It's all about efficiency in that
exactly.
game.
Exactly. And I just, so, sort of, I mean, again, the story tries to make this point of like, he's not sure if he should be doing this. And I'm like, nah, man, this is so much fun. I'm throwing kunai at people and then slashing them up and then chucking a smoke bomb on the ground and then slitting their throats before I actually go to like fight other people properly. And, like, as you're riding around... and then, you get the option of like challenging, like if you see a group of enemies, you can press a button to like call them out, right, and be like, I want to duel with you guys. And I'm just like, nope, just sprint at them with the horse, jump off the horse, stab one guy in the neck, smoke, but just being creative with it and enjoying that stuff rather than allowing the themes of the story to make me be like, I don't know if I should. This is supposed to, the character feels really conflicted about this. I don't care, and it's brilliant. I'm having a really good time revisiting it. But the other thing is obviously... Sorry, go on, James.
I was going to say, what makes that really funny then, though? Because I always play like that anyway, like these games, like just whatever's most efficient, just like, use whatever. But then it makes it quite funny in the cutscenes, when he's having all these like moral dilemmas and stuff. It's like, I just cut up tons of people and did this sort of stuff, and it's like not a problem.
In their sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so obviously, because it's on Steam, I've been playing it on the deck, and it's been so good, like so good as a handheld game because it's.
So what are you doing? Are you doing the remote stuff, or are you actually running it off?
I know it's running natively on the deck. Yeah.
I forgot. I've got a deck. I should use it.
You should. It's a very good piece of kit. What's interesting is when you go on Steam, it says it's unsupported on the Steam Deck, right? And I thought, that's a shame. But then it was like, click here for a note from the developers, right? So I clicked on that, and basically it explains that it has to be listed as unsupported because the multiplayer doesn't work on the deck. Apparently there's some Windows-only piece of software it uses, presumably an anti-cheat thing or something like that. But the campaign is absolutely fine. And it's like really beautifully done. Like it looks like it's probably the like coolest like use case for the deck I found in terms of like what it can do technically. Like the game still looks absolutely stunning. I mean, it always did, right? But like that on a handheld. I mean, it's 30 frames obviously, but the game's tuned for it, right? It feels fine at 30. Yeah, and just being able to load that up because and again, back in the day, I was playing it and I was like, the story's a bit wank. It's more Far Cry than anything else. It's like, right, here's a map. Go to the next point on it. There'll be a base with some baddies in it. Take them out in a creative way. That on a handheld is beautiful. Like just being able to pick away at it and just have little sessions where I'm like, right, next base. Clear the bastards out and get some items, maybe get some upgrades or some new clothes. Perfect. Like it works really well in short sessions.
This is very similar to because Rise of the Ronin is the same with that. Like it's completely the same in that you just have this massive open world map and then you just go and just have these like limited objectives you can do. And again, like I found it really good to play on the Portal for that reason because it's just like I'll just boot that up, play that for a bit, and then put it back. It's really good.
Yeah. So cool. I haven't wanted to play anything else this week as a result, which I was not expecting. Like I knew it would be nice to revisit it, but I don't think I ever dreamed that I would want to probably finish the game again. But I'm pretty sure I will at this rate.
Yeah.
So, good stuff.
I do love that. I love that when you're so into a game that playing anything else just feels like pointless at that point.
Yeah, and especially like I say that every time I turn the deck on, I'm just like, even if I was intending to play something else, I'm just like, but Ghost of Tsushima's already running.
Yeah.
So I'll guess I'll just carry on with that actually.
Anything else?
That is it from me.
Cool. James Farley.
So I have gone back to Like a
Fruit
Dragon,
and barley.
Infinite Wealth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I went
Bob
back
Marley.
to Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, Bob Marley. Yeah. Yeah.
Any more?
iCarly.
Sorry, that did make me laugh.
No, I got it. No, I got it.
That's what broke him. iCarly.
I thought Fruit and Barley was better.
Oh, I
got
can't.
it.
Better. Good. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I went back to Infinite Wealth because I started playing this when it first came out, and then left it to play like Stellar Blade and then Rise of the Ronin. But yeah, I went back to that, and something bad has happened with this game.
Oh.
But I say bad, but it's brilliant, and that's that I've hit the Dondoko Island bit, which is this is the Animal Crossing style game within a game part of this, and it was something that I was not intending to engage with because I just thought I really just want to play the story of this. I'm really enjoying it, and I thought I'm just going to do the minimum required for this, and then I'm going to get out of it and go back to the story, and that hasn't happened because I've just spent the whole weekend turning a rubbish dump into a holiday resort, and it's been brilliant. It's it's a little bit different to Animal Crossing is in that it's not real time. Obviously, it's like you still have like day-night cycles and everything, but you just spend the whole time clearing rubbish, building like massive buildings and stuff, and decorations, and fishing and catching bugs and stuff. But also, you like running advertising campaigns, which are ridiculous and really funny. You get and I think one of the reasons that this really works so well is because of Ichiban, and because he's like so enthusiastic about everything that's going on. It's pretty funny, how he's like running these advertising campaigns and like just being really pumped about getting more people to come and visit the island and stuff. And it's great. It's very, very. I mean, I don't feel like returning to the main game anymore now. I'm just this has become my life. I'm just sitting
This
there.
is my life now.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing.
This is where the character's story ends.
And mine begins.
But also, what's really funny about it is that like you're building like all these buildings like on the island after you've like cleared out all this rubbish, and but the buildings, it's not like Animal Crossing in the sense of like like these like lovely sort of houses and stuff like that. It's things like it's the stuff from Yakuza that you're building on this island. So you can build like an adult video shop. You could build like a karaoke place and all this.
How
kind
many
of stuff.
how many adult video shops have you got on your island, James?
If it's not
David,
69, I'm not interested.
David, they bring in a lot of money, and so they're quite.
Yeah,
good
but
to
not
have.
when
Purely
you're
fiscal
paying for
decision.
it all.
The visitors are paying for it.
Don't try your own
are paying
supply.
for it. Yeah, it's like karaoke bars and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you can choose what kind of island you want, so you can have like a rustic.
Sounds
one.
like fucking
chosen.
Jeffrey Epstein's over there.
Fucking hell.
You gonna cut that bit out?
Maybe, yeah.
I want to bleep.
Sorry to give you more editing.
See, that's the thing. Like the title of my island is Sleazy at the moment, and that's.
Is it what it's called, sleazy? Or
Yeah, it's not. I didn't choose that name. It's just depending
just
on
a
what you
judgment
placed
that's
on the
been
island,
made.
it makes the judgment.
Now you
yeah.
said
on
it.
your behaviour.
Now you said it. Ian, it's all I can think of with James. Tell
I'm
me
so
more about
sorry.
your island, James.
I'm so sorry.
That is appalling.
Do
But
you want
yeah,
an edit point? Beep. Tell us more about the island, James. Sounds good.
yeah, it's really good. It's it's very good.
And that's what we've been playing this week. Should we get on to just a few questions? Should we?
We'll do a few. We've only got a few.
God, my head feels like hot. I've got like blood pressure problems, right? It genuinely feels now like I'm a water balloon that's just about to burst. Like that's what I feel like at this point. Like the blood is like rock solid at the moment, and it's
Well,
about to make my head pop.
Funnily enough, MD Krabuff says, "How do you deal with work stress?" Badly.
How do you, Sean? How are you
I
doing
hate it. And for me, what's terrible is my job is not stressful, but that's actually kind of the problem because of the old ADHD. It's the mundane stuff I really struggle with, and then I get this sort of guilt of being unable to do actually quite easy stuff, and then that just sort of builds up. That's the worst part for me. How do I deal with it? I don't deal with it very well at all.
Don't smoke a fat one. Do you smoke a fat one every now and
I
then?
don't smoke a fat one. I've
Yeah.
actually come off my meds, Ian, and not really by choice, just because they're fucking out of stock all the time. And
ADHD meds, you can't get them. You can't get them.
I'm
It's
now
outrageous.
figuring it would be better to just not be on them than be on them, then off them, then on them. Do you know what I mean?
Are yours the ones that you tell me to fuck off if I'm, and we
That's
may have
right.
spoken to this before. Are yours the ones that you have to take every day and it's accumulative, or do you take them when you want to focus?
Yeah, so you take them every day. So they're sort of 12-hour release ones.
Right.
You're supposed to take one in the morning every day.
If you
and
can't
then,
get
it
them, that's,
sorts you out for the day in theory. So I mean, I've been
awful.
basically okay without, other than feeling like I'm just want to sleep all the time.
right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a good laugh.
Apparently, I'm annoyingly not stressed at work. Like, so when the shit is hitting the
please.
when the shit's hitting the fan and everyone's freaking out, my phrase, the thing that I always say is, in 2 years' time, this building's going to be built and no one will give a shit about any of this. That's my
Because
view.
I sort of do the opposite in that I'm like, well, in 2 years' time, none of this is going to still be around, so it doesn't matter.
What was that? Is that a warning?
No, I just mean in terms of like all the fucking like spreadsheets and paperwork that I generate. Like,
Oh, right.
just
Oh,
no
I
one's going to
see.
look at it ever again.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah,
will
well,
be
that's
there
kind of
so
what I
that just
mean.
in case.
Yeah.
That, you know.
I mean, the problem is my job. There could be a situation where that paperwork becomes very important, and that's that's kind of scary when you think about it. But I just think, I don't know what. No one knows what they're fucking doing, do they?
Well, that's
How
the
do
thing.
you
That's the thing to find that you find out when you get, you're still babies. I'm 51 in a couple of weeks. No one knows what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. Everyone is making it up. And getting to an adult and thinking, oh shit, when I was a kid, no one then knew what they were doing. It kind of ruined life for me.
James, how do you deal with stress? Just big old wank.
Sometimes,
Goes to his island.
but I was going to say that, Sean, and then I thought, I'm not going to go there for this.
I'm going to pass out like James.
Stop doing that, which is nice.
That's true, yeah.
James?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, am I supposed to say what I really do here, or
I mean,
a
that
comedy
might be
answer?
Yes.
useful for people, yeah.
Um,
To go and shoot a gun in an abandoned parking lot.
no, I just try and find something in the day that I can look forward to, that I can like just hold as being something like, okay, I'm going to look forward to that. And
Having
do
a
that.
wank while you're shooting a gun in a parking lot?
Best way
No.
to do it.
Yeah,
You didn't
I mean,
like that one, Ian.
That one, that touched the
Yeah,
nerve.
he did
means
that.
means,
Yeah,
it
it did
means
hurt
it's
him.
true.
Sorry, XB Dean in the chat says tonight's episode has been my fave. That's how you
cheers.
know you're kind of out on a limb.
You listening, Matt? You listening, Matt? Listen up, Matt.
How do you deal with stress, Ian?
It's really boring.
All right.
I meditate every day. I'll tell you exactly how I do it. I meditate every day. I write a 10-point gratitude list of things I'm grateful for.
Every day?
Every
Does the
single
list
day.
Does the list have to be different every day, or is it basically
No, it can
1
be
to
have
7
similar
are sort of
things.
locked?
But it can
How
be
many times have I made it onto that list?
Do you know what? You made it this morning that I was going to be doing this.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes, there we go. I'm on the list.
And
I think about all of us, Dave. Think about all of us.
it was the show, yeah. And I talked about, I'm in AA, and we have a thing called a sponsor, who's someone who's been sober, longer than us, or has done. So I'm in touch with my sponsor every day, and that he kind of helps calm me down and chill me out. I don't get stressed about work now, being a counsellor. It doesn't really stress me. The thing that stresses me is that beginning of the month, when the mortgage and the council tax and the utilities goes out, every month I think I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. And I'm not. It's, it's tight, but it always seems to work out. So that's when I get stressed. Work, I love it, man. Love it.
See, that's interesting because I've thought for a while now that the way we are, I would be better off just being freelance, anything. But then there's the but I have a salary now, and that's quite good.
Yeah, it's a massive draw in it, that as being
So they get you.
It is.
When you say meditate, is that TM?
I do a little bit of transcendental meditation. First part. Here's something. The first general election I was allowed to vote in. I voted for the Natural Law Party. They were the yogic flyers that could do meditation. I mean, what a fucking waste of a vote. I do a little bit of TM, which is what the Beatles and the Beach Boys did. You get a mantra and you think the mantra. There's a really good app, Insight Timer. I listen to that sometimes because you can choose. If you've only got a couple of minutes, you can choose like a 3-minute or a 6-minute guided meditation. So I love all that.
Oh, because I do wonder. Because I've read a fair bit about TM. I used to listen to Howard Stern a lot, and he used to talk about it a lot.
Okay.
So it's doing a bit of research, and it really feels like, because I do a lot of ASMR before I go to sleep, and it feels very the description of it feels very fucking similar to
In what
ASMR.
way?
That feeling of the thing that stuck out to me is that everyone that I've spoken to or read that does transcendental meditation says that they come out of it feeling like it could be 5 minutes and it feels like they've slept for an hour. And that's the exact feeling I get with ASMR.
Oh, fuck, I'm doing it wrong.
Because
I don't get that. It's different. It's different for everyone, and I think some people do get. For me, it's everything slows down. Yeah, everything slows down a bit, and it's do you know what? You're supposed to do it twice a day, and I don't even do it once a day every day. And again, you talk about medication being accumulative. It's accumulative. The more you do it, the deeper you go, and la la la. But it someone's posted the Natural Law election ad. Do watch it. But it just because partly with my ADHD brain, my head can go off in a million directions at once, and not all of those. Half of those directions are going to be you're a worthless piece of shit. You're a failure. You're no good at your job. All of that stuff. So I have to do this stuff on the gratitude list. Speaking to my sponsor, I have to do all of this on a daily basis. Go to at least 3 AA meetings a week, and it helps me stay centered. Helps me stop catastrophizing. And it stops me drinking and taking a load of drugs, which is a big part of it. But yeah, all of that stuff. It's about talking to people.
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
Did you find? And I'm sorry to make this the ADHD hour.
Yes, let's do it. ADHD
because I tried meditation when I was sort of late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And found it really fucking hard. But of course, I was still 15 years away from finding out that I had ADHD. So now I'm like, oh God, I was doing meditation on hard mode. And I had no idea. Do you know what I mean?
I like that.
So now I feel like I should revisit it, but with a bit of compassion towards myself. Like, yes, you are going to find it harder to empty your head of thoughts because you've got more than most people have to do.
Definitely. And I would suggest using this app and just picking a 3-minute one. Mm-hmm. But the point of meditation isn't about emptying your head, because that's impossible.
It's about sort of trying. Well, so when I was doing it, I was doing Zazen, which is trying to. So you're counting with your breath, and it's basically you're trying to count to 10.
I've done a little bit of that. Yeah, that's
wild.
And
it's like it's not that you have to count to 10, but it's just if you whatever number you get to when your brain's like, oh, I've got something I want to think about now.
Yeah,
it's about like being like, okay, what is it? Why do I want to think about it? Fine, put it to one side and then start counting again. So it's not necessarily that you will empty your head, but it's that process of
Yeah.
and getting better at being like, okay, and now I'm putting it away now, and that's fine.
It's interesting. I do think ADHD is potentially find it a little bit harder because it's noisier in there, and it's it's like a strobe light going on because there's there's a million thoughts going on. But it is possible to turn the volume down and to turn the brightness down on it. And if you've not, it's not for everyone, meditation. Some people hate it, but if you've not tried it, I would suggest giving it a go again with the knowledge that you have about yourself and your neurodiversity now. And you might find, particularly if you're coming off the medication, you might find that it's not a replacement for it at all. Would never advise anyone what to do with meds. You might find it helps you with work and stuff.
Yeah.
Not wanting to break the mood, but
Yeah, man.
it does make me laugh that you're having this really deep discussion while wearing a James Farley t-shirt. I just called that. there he is, speaking into your microphone.
Very
Look.
serious t-shirt,
Peekaboo.
Dave. I don't know what you're talking about.
Peekaboo. Should we move on to the next question?
Yeah, Philip with an F. Says, evening guys, looking forward to listening to the episode this week. Before I ask my question, I wanted to shout out a new game I've not heard discussed much, Mini Shoot Adventures. If you haven't heard of it before, it's a top-down Zelda-inspired adventure, but the core gameplay loop is a really smooth and at times challenging bullet hell shooter. I really recommend trying it out. There's a demo on Steam. I haven't played it yet, but I've heard really good things. Friend of the show, Lindy, is loving it, I think. So yeah, I will have a look. Philip with an F then says, I've been in a little bit of a gaming slump recently, haven't really connected with many new releases, but this one really grabbed me. Can you think of some examples of games that have pulled you out of a slump and reinvigorated your passion for games? Thanks as always, and keep up the ever excellent work.
God, yeah. I mean, this year it was Helldivers 2. Last year it was Arcade Paradise. I remember being in a real slump with video games. Just kind of don't know what to play. I'm starting stuff. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not getting into it. And then I put Arcade Paradise on, and I was like, holy fuck, that game is so good. And it just reminded me that games are fucking wicked, and maybe I should shut up and play a few more. Yeah, so that was probably the most recent example, anyway. Sure.
Yakuza 0 was a big one for me.
The first time you played it, or the second time you played it 4 years after, or what was that?
Well, this is it. Like, I'd even tried to play Yakuza 0 before, and sort of made a couple of hours in, and sort of wanted, wouldn't say I bounced off it, but certainly did not continue with it. And then it was mid-COVID. And there was something like I was enjoying the game anyway, but there was something really nice about like, I can walk around in a city and there's people, and I now realise I've sort of missed this.
Right.
It was it was really nice.
I still think about that game quite frequently, and one of my favourite things from that is like how when he gets attacked, just like how he like dodges it and just looks so bored with like the fact that somebody's just tried to hit him, and it's just I love that.
Yeah. That's Kiryu's whole thing, isn't it? He's the toughest guy in the entire world. Yeah. But he's just like, fuck's sake, I've got to fight more.
Why are you doing this? It's great.
Yeah, good game.
Okay.
Sora says, hey, my favourite pommies. I'm late on the Hooray 400, and since one of you missed it too, you can't yell at me. And it's my birthday on your recording day, so you really can't yell at me. That's just rude. Seriously, though,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sarah. Seriously, though, thanks for the laughs when I started listening. It was while cleaning out a relative's house. Check on those oldies people. They might look like they're handling things at home fine, and then you find a couple of desiccated rats under their bed. And the giggles were sorely needed then. Yeah, sounds like it, Jesus. Anyway, my 400 question is for the whiny one. David, sorry, I suck at names. One day I'll get it right. Did he ever finish Bog Snacks? He said he reckoned it would have a dark ending and the rest of you disagreed. No, we didn't. No, he fucking didn't. Spoilers, he was right. And I figured he never finished it because he didn't mention the ending. Happy 400 and onwards.
I don't finish it. It wasn't very good. It was one of those games where it was like, it's launching with a new console, so, let's all play it. It wasn't very good. But yeah, no, I heard that actually it's got a really dark ending at the in that game. And I think I called it pretty quickly. That one.
But we all did.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Everyone was saying like, oh yeah, there's clearly something a bit twisted going on.
No, I don't know. I think I got there way before.
We've been through this.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to go back and listen to it. I was
Okay.
pretty. I think I called that one. I think I called that. Thank you, but I don't know why I'm the whiny one.
Yeah.
I'm not the. I'm the least whiny one. No, actually,
said
saying that makes me the
whining.
whiny one.
I'm the least
Doesn't it?
whiny one, mate. What are you fucking talking about?
I mean, if Sir literally just means like the highest voice, but then that's not what whininess is it?
Fucking hell! All right. Stop that.
No, I'm
Why
just-
stop that high.
Can I just go back a second? Just rewind a second.
Yeah.
Did you hear James saying happy birthday?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was pathetic.
Happy
James is
birthday.
weird about birthdays, though. He's
Oh,
weird
right,
about
yeah.
birthdays.
Well,
He,
I'm not.
he doesn't particularly like them. Whenever his birthday comes up, he goes, "Yeah, but everyone says happy birthday to David instead." He does that. He changed his daughter's birthday on a whim.
Sorry?
It was not on a whim. It was a good
You've
reason
heard this
for doing
story.
Have you
that.
not heard this story?
I don't. It doesn't ring a bell about changing a birthday on a whim.
Okay. Let me explain first on a. So James, because it was convenient to him, it was Rachel, right? That you
Yeah, it was
changed.
Rachel,
Yeah, changed her birthday so that Chen could be there,
Come on,
right?
She was 2 at the time. She was
In-
2.
Oh,
Nice birthday,
that
James.
doesn't make it illegal. Is it illegal? I don't know if it's illegal, actually.
I don't know if it is legal, to be honest with you. But the thing is, you try whenever this story comes up, James. You go, "Oh, there's a noble reason." Yeah, there's a
there
noble
is.
reason. Yeah, but when you told me about it, you went, "I was looking at her on her birthday, and she was saying, I can't wait till my birthday,' and I was laughing, going, 'It's today.' She doesn't even know about it, right?
That
So
doesn't
don't
help.
try and make yourself
Doesn't help.
be all noble now,
No, it
because
was-
that wasn't
okay.
how it went down.
It was because my wife was in China at the time, and
Right.
like she wanted to celebrate, the birthday when she got back. So we were like, okay, it's just 2 or 3 days. We just don't tell her, she won't know. And then so we just waited until.
So is it every year now? It's the
No. It was
Just
that was
that
a one-off.
no,
was a
they just
one-off.
changed it back.
Started
A
forging
year
documents.
after.
She's
Well,
only
what-
2. She doesn't
But
remember.
why would you do that? Because if you're there with her on a birthday, you do a birthday, and then Mummy comes a little bit later, and you do a second birthday. Why would you?
I'm not made of
change
money,
it?
Ian. I'm not gonna.
You
spread
are.
it
You are
over 2
made of
days.
money. You
wasn't
are
there.
made of money. I'm not made of money, Ian. I am just going to 40 different countries this year.
That's
Seemingly
It's the
every
16th
Monday.
Nintendo
Another-
Switch.
Another reason you can take his Patreon money.
Work. I have to go for work.
Okay. All right, you birthday changer. Should we do one more?
Last question comes from Maria Mendieta. Dear TCG scoreboard, Mario winks at you and lets you fondle his nose during the title screen for Mario 64. Chloe talks to you during the title screen of Detroit Become Human and uses the opportunity to warn you to be careful because you decide the fate of your characters. Which brings me to my question. Could you kindly explain what is the meaning of Sonic wagging his finger at the player during the title screen of his 1991 game? As a child, I used to think he was tutting at me for playing games instead of doing something more productive. Keep up the unparalleled work.
That
Sincerely,
is a
Maria.
fucking excellent
It's a-
question.
No,
Great
he's just
question,
being
Solid.
He's being sassy, isn't he? That's
Yeah,
the whole
I
thing.
thought he was
But
being
about
sassy.
what?
Yeah.
Just like, well, just
It
life.
was the 90s, Sean. Everyone
Yeah,
was
there's
being
a lot of
sassy.
sass floating about in
Yeah.
the 90s, mate.
Yeah,
He's just going, nah, whatever. That's what I thought
exactly
he
what
was doing.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up. Do you know, in the Game Gear version of Sonic 2, that screen was very important because you had to enter a code and then press start when Tails blinks. Just as Tails blinks, you do that and then you get the...
That enabled the
I'm
blood
like
mode,
the
yeah?
fucking game master this week, and I look, all these tips that I'm...
Namrude.
Namrude! I was
Who's
thinking, do
Namrude?
I? No, I won't. You did it. Well done.
I don't
Call
know
me a
that
slimy
one.
furtler.
It's from what's it called
Bad
isn't it?
influence.
Yeah.
If you want to laugh, there's a guy, Rose Tinted Spectrum, who has watched
that's
all of the Bad Influences
Oh, wow.
and done commentary over them. It's a wild ride watching Andy Crane. It's great. I thoroughly recommend that. But Namrude, yes, well done.
'Cause we did talksovers for a couple of. Bad
Yeah, we did a
influences,
few of
but
them, I
the-
think.
but
Yeah.
the
Oh,
quality
really?
was quite rough, so I don't know if there's
Hold
been.
on, wasn't Andy Crane in
Yes.
Raise the Roof, the child's TV show that I did? Was that Andy Crane?
I don't think,
I think it
was.
was.
I don't think it was
I don't
Andy
know.
Green.
Was it not? I
I
looked.
mean, we've also
oh no,
done the talks over that. So
we've done
Wasn't that
a lot of
patched
shit. I still think my favourite talks over we did of a show like that was when we did the Krypton Factor.
yeah,
I don't
that
think I've
was good.
ever laughed so
Oh,
much in my
I've
life.
seen that. Yeah. Andrew O'Connor and his potty mouth.
What's the best thing
Andrew
ever?
O'Connor. Yeah, so he's just got sass. Sonic's just got
It's
sass.
just
Is
been-
that it?
I don't feel like that's a good enough answer. I want to know
Well,
what he's
you
being
come up with
sassy
an
about.
answer then.
What? No, I
Go
haven't
on.
got one.
Okay, well, it's a better answer than you could. Don't slag our answers off if you haven't got one, mate.
I've just. I don't know. I feel like it's disapproval, but of what?
Is it?
Or is he telling the enemies they can't
Yeah,
fucking
off
catch
camera.
me 'cause
Is
I'm
Zonic
fast?
there? Is that what it is?
We'll never know. We
don't
never
know if
fucking
Zonic
met
exists.
Zonic.
We don't know what Zonic is yet.
We've got
We never
no idea
found
what Sonic is. All we know is that Tails went, but why did you lock me up, Sonic? But on the front cover, he looks totally fucking different.
Yeah.
That was a weird
Sonic
evening,
was
wasn't it?
the tradition is, as in when Michael Knight met his evil twin brother, the evil one has to have a moustache. I'm obviously my own evil twin brother.
Or a
You have
beard.
to put a moustache
Yeah.
or a beard so you can differ, and they have to talk in a slightly terse voice like that.
I
So-
think now you come to mention it, if we'd have gone to page 46, there was just a little chapter that said Sonic has a moustache. Turn to page 87. Turn to page 14 if you like it. That fucking book. Shall we get to the socials?
Yes.
Who does the socials? James does the socials, doesn't he? Of course he does.
Forgot.
He
I
always
completely
forgets.
forgot about this again.
Go on.
Okay.
Into
Honestly,
the
I've
microphone.
totally forgotten what's
Into the
going on here.
microphone.
Right, let's
Right.
go.
Do you want me to do it?
No, it's all right. I can
Don't
see I
let
can remember
James
it.
off the hook.
Okay.
He needs to learn
Okay,
his money.
so okay, we've got a Patreon. It's
Do we want Ian to
patreon.com/TCGSco.
do it, Sean?
No, it's patreon.com.
What if the Patreon stuff goes up loads? And we're like, well, we've got to pay Ian to do it every week now.
I do a freebie for my mates. I do a freebie. Mates rates. Go on, James. Sorry, we're talking over
Yeah,
you.
no, we're being
It's
rude.
rude. You're reluctant to do this. Let's not drag this out any longer, ladies and gentlemen. With the socials, Mr. James Farley.
If you like the show, we have a Patreon, which is at.
If you like the show, we have a podcast.
I've fallen at the first hurdle. It's just like this.
I'll be honest with you guys, I've absolutely fucked this.
Okay, it's patreon.com/TCGSco where there's a whole bunch of tiers
No,
and stuff going.
no.
Is it not?
No.
What is it? Is it patreon.com/TCGS?
Yeah.
But I don't know where he's moved them already. He changes them all the time.
I mean, it's been the same for about.
Been the same for
3
about 4
years now.
years. Yeah.
But why isn't it TCGSco? Everything else is. We'll talk about this when Matt comes back. Anyway, so they got that. If you've got Twitch Prime, if you've got Amazon Prime, then you've also got Twitch Prime. You can subscribe to us on Twitch, which we'd appreciate. That would be very nice.
With your free sub.
With your free
There you go.
subscription
Yeah.
that you get, and you can give it to us, which would be nice.
Been nice.
Is there anything else?
Be
They're
nice.
real nice.
It's been nice.
And then
Be nice.
we've also got a website, which is tcgs.co, and on there we've got you can buy T-shirts and stuff if you have a look.
Which is nice.
This
It'd be nice if you did. It'd be nice.
this week in terms of streams, Sean, are you streaming on Thursday? It says no here. Is that true?
It won't be on Thursday.
Okay, that's good.
I might
listen
try,
to this
I
part.
do really want to try and get crack on with this fucking ornithopter. So it won't be Thursday, but hopefully someday this week.
James, you streaming the Bluey this week?
No, but what? Which one was this?
A pornographic as opposed to the children's entertainer.
I mean, I
be
don't
nice.
generally do that. No, I mean,
I saw one.
really? This one.
That was a private showing, though, Ian.
Yeah, that's
Shit,
behind the
just for
Patreon.
you.
You
paywall.
didn't share the address, did you?
That dirty game you were playing where a lady's running around in her pants.
What was that? I don't
For
remember.
fuck's sake, how many of you have you played?
Blade
Space-
game.
Oh, Stellar
Space
Blade.
Blade. Stellar Blade. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, that one. Yeah, I've totally forgot about that one. Yeah, no, I'm not
shook
playing
the
that one.
shed.
Probably I'll be back on Friday to continue with Dark Souls 3, which I tried to do last week and it went badly, and I ended up playing Super Mario Land instead because I felt like it. So
Oh,
there you go.
right.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's it, I think.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ian. It's always a delight to have you on. This has been quite the show.
I apologise that I've given you extra editing to do. If you're listening to this podcast, you won't know what that was, but there is a director's cut of this floating around on the internet. It's been a pleasure. I love it. Honestly, I love this show so much. It is my favourite podcast, and it's a thrill to be asked. So thank you, guys.
We love you so much too, and
Say
we
it
love.
like you mean it, mate. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
You're reading it off a cue card.
it is a delight to have you on, Ian. Thank you. My heart goes out to. Thanks for living it, everyone. Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Love you. Goodbye.
Chowsy chow chows.
Nice.